today to win and then beat the winner tomorrow in championship play. Here is the starting lineup for the visiting Virginia Tech Hokies. They are 42-11 on the year. They got a 5-0 win over Belmont yesterday to advance to this game. Leading things off is the right fielder, Corey McMillan. Jordan Lynch, the third baseman, will bat second. Catching batting third is Zoe Yeager. Kylie Albridge, the designated player, will bat fourth. Batting fifth is Bree Peck, the center fielder. Trinity Martin, left field, batting sixth. Batting seventh is Emily Leggett, the first baseman. Shortstop Annika Rose will bat eighth, and batting ninth is Rachel Castine, the second baseman. They'll face in the circle for Alabama, the right-handed sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, Jocelyn Brisky. Brisky on the year with a 2.78 ERA, a 16-12 record. 41st appearance and 25th start for Brisky. She has 5 complete games. She's pitched 153 in the third innings, 142 hits, 81 runs, 61 have been earned. She's walked 72, struck out 110. Opponents batting 239 against Brisky on the year. And Gray, I know we talked to Patrick Murphy a lot about keys for success in the circle for his starter, and more times than not he talks about limiting the freebies, and that's going to be big for Brisky here today.
Well, especially against a team like Virginia Tech, who is so hard to keep in the yard. But if you give up a solo homer, well, it's just one run. If you give up a home run after a couple walks, that's where the trouble begins. And Virginia Tech first in the ACC in homers. They've got the nation's leader in Corey McMillan, but they've got pop everywhere in the lineup. It's just going to be so important for Brisky to use the defense behind her and also just, again, like you said, limit the free passes, sparse it out if there are a few, and try and keep this Hokies offense as very potent as down as possible.
That concludes the Alabama Softball pregame report presented by T-Mobile. First pitch is next here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. About to take the field to go through their warm-ups and get set for Alabama and Virginia Tech here. Starting off day number 2 of the Tuscaloosa Regional Winners Bracket matchup between the Hokies and the Crimson Tide. And before we get things rolling here, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. The first inning is presented by Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa. Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa is more than fast and more than signs. Request a free quote from Fast Signs for all your business visibility needs. Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa is a proud supporter of Crimson Tide softball. The defensive lineman for the Crimson Tide that is taking the field: Lauren Johnson in left, Audrey Vandegrift in center, Larissa Pruitt in right, Brooke Ellisett at third, Salyn Hawkins at short, Callie Hevlin at second, Abby Dukeshire at first, Marley Giles behind the plate, catching Jocelyn Brisky, and Maddie Hubbard is the designated player. Umpires for today's ball game: Susan Eds is behind home plate with Joe Havenhall at first, Don Brown at second, and Gil Zayas, the third base umpire. And starting things off, it will be Corey McMillan leading things off for Virginia Tech, going through her numbers on the year. ACC Player of the Year, a 447 batting average, 71 of 159, 73 runs scored, 11 doubles, 30 home runs, 63 RBIs. She's been walked 42 times on the year. Her on-base percentage is .562, and if she is on first, she is 15 of 17 stolen bases on the year. So obviously would be great to get her out to start things off.
Can I list the categories in the ACC where Corey McMillan is top 3?
Sure, why not?
Batting average, runs scored, home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage, walks, and OBP. and she's first in like half of those.
Yeah.
So this is the key bat, and what's interesting, again, we haven't talked about this yet, the other big power bat in the lineup is Michelle Chatfield. She has not played since Game 3 against Florida State. Pete DeMoore said she was day-to-day coming into the regionals. We also know day-to-day in college softball can mean a little bit of anything.
Correct.
She is not in the starting lineup today. That is a big piece in the Hokies' order. So I think really if Jocelyn Brisky can take care of the top 5, then you feel really good because the bottom portion of the lineup is kind of where a few of the holes are.
The weather to start things off here after thunderstorms came through this morning. The rain has cleared the area. It is cloudy. It is 73 degrees. The wind is blowing out to right field. A bit humid, but we are good to go. Alabama and Virginia Tech. Corey McMillan steps in the left-hander batter's box, and here comes the first pitch from Jocelyn Brisky. A little bit inside for ball 1.
And Corey McMillan against Alabama all time, hitting .455, 3 RBIs, a homer, a double, a walk, has struck out a couple times. All-American, who's a Player of the Year finalist this year.
The 1-0 is low, 2 balls and no strikes. Surprisingly went 0 for 2 yesterday against Belmont. Did have a walk and a run scored, so they were able to knock off the Bruins without getting a whole lot from McMillan. The 2-0 is to the backstop, 3 balls and no strikes. Alabama leads the all-time series 8-2 over Virginia Tech. These two teams met earlier this season here in Tuscaloosa during the Bama Bash in February, splitting a pair. The 3-0. There's a strike, 3-1. Virginia Tech won game 1, 2-1 before Bama made the adjustments and run-ruled Virginia Tech in game 2, 9-1. The first postseason meeting between these two programs.
We've talked about how close it's been basically every matchup since 2022, minus that 1 run rule.
The 3-1 is high and tight for ball 4, and McMillan draws the leadoff walk. Not surprising and not the worst thing in the world, but you have to now.
Right. It goes against everything I believe in. Like, don't walk the first batter of the game, don't walk the leadoff in an inning, but also it's Corey McMillan, and that's the most dangerous bat. You just got to make sure, like you said, you take care of business behind.
Jordan Lynch now the batter. First pitch to her is inside for ball 1. Lynch batting .376, 62 of 165, 43 runs scored, 17 doubles, a triple, 8 homers, 40 runs driven in.
Had a 2-run homer in the first inning yesterday against Belmont.
The 1-0 is a strike on the inside corner, 1-1.
Bigger part, it was a solo homer. Had another RBI later on a regular old base hit. 2 for 3 day against the Bruins. 0 for 5 all time is Lynch against Alabama.
The 1-1 holds off on a drop ball. Didn't go, 2 balls and a strike. Alabama entering today's game 91-26 all time against the current makeup of the ACC.
Look at how far back in the box Lynch is here.
2-1, grounded foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's for that drop ball from Brisky. You're trying to make her bring it up, and you move back in the box so that you can see it tumbling and don't get fooled into chasing too much. And it's always interesting. Do you go all the way up, try and catch it before it drops? Do you move back and wait? Lynch going with the move back and wait.
2-2, again fouled away. This game being played in the first window of games here today on Elimination Saturday of the NCAA tournament.
Best day of the year. Sometimes.
The 2-2. A little too far inside, and the count's full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that's a couple of times Brisky's tried to go on the inside corner against lefties and hasn't got the call from Susan Eds.
That's a really good pitch. Thought it might have clipped.
And the payoff. Grounded foul down the first baseline. We'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He's trying to hit and run right there, and this feels like one of those gigantic early momentum at-bats. We talked about the energy and the vibes. This is Alabama's #1 against a freshman.
Another 3-2. Low and away for ball 4, and back-to-back walks puts runners on first and second with nobody out here in the first inning. Marley Giles is going out to talk things over with Jocelyn Brisky. With the 3-hole hitter, Zoe Yeager stepping in. Yeager batting .328 on the year. 39 of 119, 26 runs scored, 4 doubles, a triple, 9 homers, and 38 runs driven in.
That triple came yesterday. Her lone hit in 3 at-bats against Belmont. 2 for 10 all-time against the Tide, and third-team All-ACC selection. This is an interesting one. Virginia Tech is last in the ACC in sack bunts, but I wouldn't put it past Pete Demore to ask Yeager to lay something down here, try and move both runners.
First pitch is a little bit high for ball 1. First righty in the lineup for Va-Tech. 1-0. That one's too low. 2 balls, no strikes. And Lancet Mann's going to come out and talk things over with Brisky. Some of these pitches are not missing by a whole lot.
No, but Virginia Tech, again, with that strategy of being back in the batter's box, they're laying off the drop. That one looked good, the 1-0. I thought it might get a call, but right now, if you're Brisky, you just got to trust your stuff and not try and be too fine. It looks like she's maybe almost like guiding it a little bit right now, trying to be a little too precise, a little too fine with her spots, and it's always amazing in sports when you try and do too much, sometimes it hurts you more.
Yeah. Fans encouraging Brisky as as McMahon goes back to the dugout. Big pitch coming up here, 2-0 the count on Yeager. Runners on first and second, nobody out in the first. That's in there for a strike, 2-1. And McMillan trying to induce a throw down to second, but Giles didn't take the bait there. The 2-1. Lined, and that's going to be just foul. Down the right field line. Just got past Dukeshire, but she didn't make contact with it, and it hit foul, and the count moves to 2-2.
Well, and Virginia Tech's swing paths are very much geared more towards upspin pitches, so we're probably going to see Lance McMahon go with that heavy drop strategy, and then if a rise ball does come, it's got to be explosive through the zone. That's where you get the swings and misses.
Brisky looks in. Here comes the 2-2 to Yeager. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got her with her eyes, and there's one down.
What'd I say? Lance, well done. And great execution. This isn't even explosive through the zone, really. It kind of starts high, but because it has enough up on it, that's how Yeager gets underneath it. Big unproductive first out.
Collie Aldridge steps second one out. First pitch is a ground ball to short. Hawkins is able to make the stop, and her throw is errant, but tracking it down is Elistad.
Oh, boy.
And now runners are on every base with one out. It was a great play by Hawkins to stop that ball, but she didn't get anything behind the throw. And the infield single loads the bases.
Curveball moving away. Because it was moving away, Aldridge went with it, and actually Alabama a little lucky. McMillan didn't come in to score right there.
Bree Peck, the batter, the first pitch. Called strike. Peck batting .340, 53 of 156, 41 runs scored, 8 doubles, 14 homers, and 53 runs driven in.
Most experienced player in this lineup in the postseason.
The 0-1 blooper to shallow right, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Pruitt gets it in. 1 run will come in to score, and it's now 1-0 Virginia Tech on the second hit of the ball game.
Man, that's a tough one. That's a rise high and in. That's just Virginia Tech finding a spot. And there's maybe a chance to get McMillan at the plate if this doesn't check up. We talked about the weather, very damp out there. That one just checks. Pruitt has to get it on the second hop, and that's why McMillan was able to even wait at third and still come in to score.
So bases still loaded now with 1 out and a 1-0 lead for Virginia Tech. Trinity Martin fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. Martin batting .237. 18 of 76, 14 runs scored, 3 doubles, 4 homers, and 12 RBIs.
0 for 3 with a K against Alabama all-time. 1 for 9 in a regional with a walk and a couple strikeouts.
The 0-1.
Come on. Susan
missed, I guess, a little low, 1-1.
talked about it in pregame, though. The response stat was going to be key today. Alabama's got to make sure the damage is limited to just the 1 run here in the first.
1-1. There's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Love that change-up call. Martin was fooled. I'd go back to it, but a little lower in the zone.
1-2 pitch. Foul back. Martin stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bases loaded. Here in the top of the first, Virginia Tech has scored the first run. Bama trying to limit that damage. One, 2. Bounces in. Nice stop by Giles. 2-2. 2 under down the lines. 220 to straightaway center field. 6-foot wall all the way around in the outfield. 2-2. Ground ball to first. Dukeshire will throw home to get the force out at the plate. That's the only out, but it's a big one. There's 2 away.
Yeah, great job by Dukeshire, knowing exactly where to go. You go straight to the plate. Giles, foot on the bag. Nicely done. Well executed. And good job by Marley communicating with both Hevelin and Dukeshire, knowing not to try and throw to first because nobody was there.
Yes. Emily Leggett now the batter. 7th batter of the inning. First pitch to the lefty. It's a little low for ball 1. Leggett batting .328, 19 of 58, 8 runs scored, 3 doubles, 3 homers, and 13 RBIs.
Stepping in at first base with Chatfield out. Leggett has been the DP a lot.
1-0. Low 2-0.
Leggett 0 for 1 all time against Alabama, and yesterday was 1 for 3 with a couple strikeouts against Belmont.
.20. Swing and a miss. Blew it by her. 2-1.
I love that. It was almost kind of a floaty rise from Brisky. She did take a little off it.
2-1. That's lined in the left. That's down for a base hit. 1 run will score. Here comes the second run. The throw from left is not in time. Sliding in safely is Peck. And 2-run single by Emily Leggett makes it 3-0 Hokies.
Man, it's not even really a bad pitch by Brisky. Rise ball, and Leggett just finds a spot. Hokies are finding spots right now. Good throw from Lauren Johnson and left. Just skipped in, and Patrick Murphy was asking about Caitlin Riley.
Alabama is going to challenge. Ooh. Giles definitely applied a tag. It's just whether or not Peck's foot got there before. So 1 run definitely scores, and we'll see about the second one. And if the inning continues or if it is over.
Well, the throw was on target by Loja. 1 hops in. Giles is not in an obstruction position. It's going to be a great angle. Elistad lets it go. Right to Marley.
Oh. Got her on the calf.
But was the toe in?
Right.
Is the question.
Was it above the plate or on the plate on that slide? Don't think we'll be able to see from this angle.
Is there a way to, yeah, this is not the angle. Is there even a way to tell, honestly? Like, you know, the fact that the call on the field is safe is significant here. And
I think she's out. Yeah. But we will see.
I would love
I've
to agree with you.
I've thought things before.
Here's a great angle of it. Tag there. I think I don't see how they overturn this. I'll just say that. I don't see anything clear and obvious to me because there's a chance the tag is getting there right as the foot is getting to the corner of the plate. And they look almost simultaneous to me.
Yeah.
Which tells me this is probably an upheld
I will
call.
say. I will just say I have seen plays
that angle
with less evidence be overturned this year.
is the tag. All right, zoom. It's like I'm talking to the truck. All right, if that's the tag, then I think she's out.
Right.
The question, but the other angle does not make it look like that's the tag. But you do see the glove move, and there is space between home and foot in the high home angle.
It's as close as it can be. See right there. I think because like part of the glove starts making contact
right
before.
I don't know,
but
man.
I don't know. It's very, very close.
And the problem
it's as close as it could be.
The problem with my answer being I don't know is in that case,
go with the call.
Go with the call on the field.
Yeah. So obviously huge. It's about a run. Also, it looks like it would be the difference between whether or not Jocelyn Brisky stays in this game or not. Here comes our umpiring crew. They've talked things over with Pittsburgh, and here is the final call.
After review, the call on the field has been changed.
Wow.
So the play has been overturned, and the runner is out at home. Brepak thrown out on a great throw by Lauren Johnson, and it limits the damage. Virginia Tech just gets 2 here in the first inning.
Look, I mean, all things considered, I'm good with 2. We said this in pregame, right? Response stat is going to be the key. I even said to you before you came on the air, I feel like Virginia Tech's going to score in the first inning. And how Alabama responds will tell the story of this game. If there's a way to get momentum after you give up runs, I feel like we just saw it. Now you got to be ready to go against Emma Mazaron.
For the Hokies in the first 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We played a half inning. Virginia Tech 2, Alabama coming to bat here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from their field. Nothing Virginia Tech as we head to the bottom of the first inning. The first inning is presented by Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa. Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa is more than fast and more than signs. Request a free quote from Fast Signs for all your business visibility needs. Fast Signs of Tuscaloosa is a proud supporter of Crimson Tide softball. Here's the starting lineup for the 15th seeded Alabama Crimson Tide. They're 38-21 entering today's game after an 8-0 run rule win over Jackson State yesterday. Leading things off is the center fielder Audrey Vandergriff. Lauren Johnson left field batting second. Batting third is Callie Hevlin, the second baseman. Catching batting fourth, Marley Giles. Shortstop, Salem Hawkins will bat fifth. Batting sixth is Brooke Elistad, the third baseman. Maddie Hubbard, designated player, batting seventh. Batting eighth is the first baseman, Abby Dukesher. And Larissa Pruitt, the right fielder, will bat ninth. They'll face in the circle for Virginia Tech, the left-handed sophomore from Pleasant Garden, North Carolina, Emma Mazaron. Mazaron on the year with a .330 ERA and 11-2 record. 22nd appearance and 18th start, 3 complete games. She's pitched 87 innings on the season as Audrey Vandergriff steps in to lead things off for Alabama. First pitch is low for ball 1. 69 hits allowed, 47 runs, 41 have been earned. She's walked 56, struck out 89. Opponents batting .216 against Mazaron on the year.
Give you the scouting report after this pitch.
The 1-0. Is a called strike, 1-1.
High 60s velocity, drop 62% of the time, rise 24. They're going to get more away to the righties. Not a ton of mix and effectively wild, but with this zone, it'll be interesting because Susan Eads was not given a lot of drop early in the first inning.
The 1-1. It's inside and bounces away. 2 balls and a strike.
And one last thing, Mazaron has a career ERA against Alabama of 29.10 and a ERA against the SEC this year of 13.30.
And we're looking looking to respond after Virginia Tech scored 2 in the top of the first. The 2-1 is a chopper to first. The stop made. The throw is going to be just in time from Leggett to Castine covering from second for out number 1.
This is a great, great maneuver by Castine. She was shaded perfectly. If she shaded up the middle at all, there's no play here. But she read Leggett's movement immediately and booked it to first base. Very close play, but well done by Virginia Tech.
So that will bring up Lauren Johnson, whose throw out at home got the overturn and kept Virginia Tech just 2 runs in the first. First pitch to her. Line foul for strike 1. Johnson batting .363, 29 of 80, 24 runs scored, 7 doubles, a triple, a homer, and 24 runs driven in.
1 for 3 with a ribby. Yesterday was 0 for 2 with a K this year against Virginia Tech. It was all against Limley.
The 0-1 is high, 1 ball, 1 strike. The defensive alignment for the Hokies: Martin in left, Peck in center, McMillan in right, Lynch at third, Rose at short, Castine at second, Leggett at first, Yeager catching, Mazzarone, and Aldridge is the DP.
Top fielding percentage team in the ACC.
The 1-1. This is inside, 2 balls and a strike.
And I think, again, Mazzarone is going to walk you. In the ACC tournament game against Clemson, she had 8 walks. She struggled with free passes. I think you got to be a little bit patient here today for the Crimson Tide, especially with the zone being a little smaller on the lower part.
2-1, high and away, 3-1.
Which is a game plan that Alabama has struggled with a bit this year.
They want to hit.
Which I get. Hitters want to hit.
The 3-1, ground ball back to Mazzarone in the circle. She has it, makes a throw for out number 2. So 2 out, nobody on for Callie Hevlin. Callie batting .374, 58 of 155, 35 runs scored, 7 doubles, 4 triples, 13 home runs, and 44 runs driven in for Hevlin on the season.
2 for 3 with a couple ribbies and a run yesterday.
First pitch just misses for ball 1.
Everyone see that and learn.
Yeager looked back at Susan Eads, and I kind of understand why. The 1-0. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
It's going to be one of those games, isn't it? This is going to have the vibe of that 2019 Arizona State game, I think. Not because the zone is as bad as that, but it's just smaller, so you got to play the game a little bit.
2-0, waved at a miss, 2-1.
And also, if you're Alabama, you got to like totally forget everything that you did yesterday against Jackson State against that velocity. A lot of these swings are a little bit late. You got to catch up. High 60s, right back at what you were seeing in the SEC.
2-1 pitch. Hevlin chases one in the dirt, 2-2. Haven't seen that much from Callie this season.
No, and she knew it too.
Two-two. High and outside. The count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. 2-0 Virginia Tech here in the bottom of the first. And the 3-2, high and inside for ball 4. And Callie Hevlin, first base runner today for the Crimson Tide on a 2-out walk. Bring up Marley Giles. Opportunity for some 2-out production from the captain. He's batting .279, 31 of 111, 27 runs scored, 6 doubles, a triple, 5 homers, and 22 runs driven in for Marley.
Walked a couple times yesterday.
First pitch. Chopper to short, backing up and making the stop is Rose. The throw is not caught at first. And now the Crimson Tide has runners on the corners with 2 outs. As Rose throw one-hopped first baseman Leggett. She couldn't corral it, and now Alabama has an opportunity The runners on the corners and 2 out.
Well, Annika Rose is a very good shortstop, but she was just all over the place footwork-wise. Threw it off her back foot. It was not a bad throw. It was just sinking right on Leggett. And this is what Patrick Murphy talked about. If you get a gift, you better cash in. It's the postseason, baby. You cannot miss out on a chance to score runs after a mistake.
Salem Hawkins is the batter. First pitch is a strike. Salem batting .320 on the year, 40 of 125, 23 runs scored, 7 doubles, a homer, and 20 runs driven in.
1 for 2 with a couple RBIs and a couple runs yesterday, hitting .421 RISP this season.
The 0-1 is outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Against Virginia Tech earlier this year was 0 for 3. That was still when Salem Hawkins was kind of in and out of a lineup.
Right.
Like Patrick Murphy said, like we've said, a lot has changed since those February games.
The 1-1. Hawkins fouls it off down the first base line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Official scoring is an E6 on that play to allow Giles to reach. And the point made, just saw on TV being made, Leggett, not the usual first baseman.
Correct. It was normally Michelle Chatfield. And Rose did just about everything she could on that play.
1-2 count now on Hawkins. 1-2, Salem with a fly ball to right. Well hit, but drifting back and making the catch is McMillan for out number 3 to retire the side. And Alabama gets a couple on, but can't respond here in the first.
Yeah, and I think Alabama, we talk about the fact-finding mission. I think Alabama kind of used that bottom of the first a little bit as a fact-finding mission, understanding the zone, understanding what they have to do. Now Jocelyn Brisky has to make sure that Virginia Tech doesn't add any more, because the deeper we get in this game, if Virginia Tech has the lead, that's when you know Pete DeMore is going to turn to Emma Limley. So you got to hold them down and try and get some runs up yourself very, very quickly.
For the Tide in the first, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 left. We played an inning. It's 2-0 Virginia Tech here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from their field. We head to the second inning. Virginia Tech with a 2-0 lead. The second inning is presented by the Bryant Museum, located on the UA campus just across from Coleman Coliseum. Open every day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., except Mondays. Access online at bryantmuseum.com. Rose, Castine, and McMillan due up for the Hokies here in the second. Jocelyn Brisky back out for her second inning of work. And as we mentioned, Gray, the overturn of the play at home was big for numerous reasons for Alabama in the first. One of those being that Patrick Murphy was about to make a pitching change to go to Caitlin Riley, but instead sticking with Jocelyn Brisky after getting that out.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how Brisky responds, because I felt like the inning was getting better. Virginia Tech was just finding spots. It wasn't like they were crushing pitches down the middle. They were just poking it. And now we'll see how she does. These first 2 outs are so critical with McMillan waiting third in this inning.
Annika Rose leads things off, squares around a bunt, and bunts it foul for strike 1. Rose batting .216, 24 of 111, 25 runs scored, 4 doubles, a homer, and 9 RBIs on the year.
1 for 5 in her career against Bama. 3 for 9 all-time in regionals, including an 0 for 2 day yesterday.
The 0-1 Foul back. No balls and 2 strikes. Alabama in the all-white uniforms, the white jerseys with Alabama in script crimson across the chest, white pants, crimson socks with the crimson pinstripes on both. The 0-2, grounded to second. That one bounces up on Hawkins. She sticks with it, and her throw bounces away from Dukeshire. So Rose reaches on a rarity. I believe that's going to be an E6.
Well, one of the issues here is this pitch is just a little too over the plate for an 0-2. It's not a bad pitch, but it's a drop ball that hangs up enough, and it was hit hard right at Hawkins. The recovery almost got it, but unfortunately couldn't strong-arm that throw.
Rachel Castine now the batter. She squares around a bunt and puts down a bunt to Elistad, who collects it and throws to first to get the out. It does move the runner to second on the sacrifice, and there's one away.
And now the question begins to be asked. Corey McMillan steps in. She's got a great walk-up song. First base is open. She's the nation's leader in home runs. Are you doing anything but walking her and giving her first base?
No. Marley Giles is standing up for the intentional walk, which is why it's a little bit surprising to me that you do the sacrifice in that situation. I know it's the 9-hole hitter, but if it's successful, all it's going to do is move the runner to second and open up the sacrifice. Now, that being said,
Virginia Tech also isn't probably 100% sure that Alabama's walking Corey McMillan. I mean, Alabama's gone after her every other time in her career.
right. But this is the first time Alabama has faced her after she's hit 16 homers in a month.
She's got 30 home runs on the year.
Right. And as 16 of them have been in this last month.
It's crazy.
So
she's impressive. This is
Yeah.
the right call. And it also brings into play the double play as well at a couple areas.
yeah.
Strategically, this is the right move. Now you just got to make sure you look like it was the right move by getting
Right.
out of this inning.
Jordan Lynch is the batter. She walked her first time. First pitch is high for ball 1. Now you have to get Jordan Lynch for this decision to work, right?
And I, again, am not opposed to a double play.
Alabama is good at that.
True.
The 1-0. There's a strike. 1-1. Virginia Tech in the maroon over white uniforms. Maroon jerseys with Hokies in white script across the chest. White pants. White socks with the maroon stirrups. The 1-1. Change up stays too high. 2-1. That one fooled Lynch but didn't get in the zone.
Got to be careful here.
The 2-1. That one's popped up on the infield. Infield fly is called. Hawkins will make the catch for out number 2.
Great job. Lynch is a freshman. She's aggressive. So you feel like on a hitter's count, she's going to go after it. That's a good, I think it was a high drop in her half, and she just got under it.
Now Patrick Murphy is coming over with a question for Susan Eds.
Interesting. She mouthed, I got you, coach. So whatever Murph was asking about, Susan said, sure.
Okay, all right. First pitch to Yeager. Ground ball to third, stopped by Elistad. She'll make the catch, stepping on the bag for out number 3 to retire the side, and the strategy worked against Corey McMillan and keeps the Hokies off the board here in the second.
Sometimes the smart thing is indeed the right thing. I mean, I'll take my risks against the rest of the lineup compared to Corey McMillan and her 63 RBIs. Now this is where you got to grit up and you got to make the adjustment, understand the pitcher you're facing, the zone you're seeing, and utilize all that to get some runs.
For the Hokies in the second, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 left. We move to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Virginia Tech here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Virginia Tech with a 2-0 lead. Second inning is presented by the Bryant Museum, located on the UA campus just across from Coleman Coliseum. Open every day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. except Mondays. Access online at bryantmuseum.com. 6-7-8 due up for Alabama here in the second. Emma Mazzarone back out for her second inning of work. Bama gave up 2 runs in the first inning, a third run on a play at home. Originally scored, but then was overturned to an out call. And that's where we stand right now. And Brooke Elstad with an opportunity to start things off here in the second. Entering today with a 301 average, 47 to 156, 17 runs scored, 7 doubles, 2 triples, 8 homers, and leads the team with 46 runs driven in.
Drove in a couple yesterday, ending a hitless streak, was 1 for 2. It'll be interesting to see how she attacks Mazzarone. Mazzarone's opposing batting average against lefties is actually higher than against righties because she doesn't have that curve running away. See how Elstad attacks her here.
First pitch, outside for ball 1.
And when I say attack, I would like for that attack to be on like a 2-0.
Yeah,
I think, again, you got to be really, really patient here today, especially against Mazzarone, who's going to throw some pitches out of his zone. Got to wait for the mistake.
1-0, foul back, 1 ball, 1 strike. Patrick Murphy over in the third base coaching box in his 27th season as the Alabama head coach. An Alabama head coaching record, 1,315 wins, 396 losses, a 769 winning percentage. Been very good in the postseason.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, the 1-1 is high, 2-1. All-time in regional play, Murphy and the Tide now 72-12 with 20 regional titles. This is the 20th straight tournament. They have been a host in regional play. 2-1 is inside, 3 balls and a strike. Overall in the NCAA tournament, Bama with Patrick Murphy at the helm, 123-56 with that 2012 national championship. Here comes 3-1 to Elstad. Lined up the middle, down for a base hit. Brooke Elstad got that mistake you were talking about and put it right back up the middle. And Alabama has leadoff man on here in the second.
Yeah, if you get a 3-1 count, you're going to get something in the zone. Elevated drop ball. This is trying to get to the outer half of the plate. Doesn't. And Elstad right on time, able to smoke middle. Now we'll see what the strategy is for Patrick Murphy with a freshman who got the start yesterday, but this is like the first true pressure postseason moment for Maddie Hubbard.
Maddie Hubbard is the batter. First pitch is bouncing away from the catcher, and Brooke Elstad will take second on the wild pitch. Well, that opens things up a little bit.
It's all working swimmingly.
Hubbard on the year batting .286, 12 of 42, 10 runs scored with a double, 2 triples, and 10 runs driven in.
0 for 3, hard luck 0 for 3 against Jackson State. Hit the ball hard a couple times. And what I love about Maddie is, like, she has relished this chance. She was a starter on opening day.
Yeah.
And then today is making her 11th start of the season. So it's been a minute, but she's been ready. She's cashed in on her chances in SEC play. Now a great chance here in the bottom of the second.
The 1-0. Hubbard with a hard hit ball to right. McMillan will range back and make the over-the-shoulder catch. And Elstad will stay at second.
It was a really good piece. This is right over the plate, and McMillan is a great outfielder. That's why she was one of the easy money picks for a golden ticket in the AUSL. That was just crushed by Hubbard.
Now 1 out with a runner on second for Abby Dukeshire. First pitch, Dukeshire fouls that one off. 4 strike 1. Duke batting .306, 41 of 134, 27 runs scored, 6 doubles, a triple, 7 homers, 23 runs driven in.
0 for 2 yesterday, but crushed Virginia Tech in the regular season. Was 5 for 6 in both games. All time hitting .385 against the Hokies with a couple doubles and an RBI. Double here would get Alabama on the scoreboard.
2-0 Virginia Tech. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Runner on second for Alabama. The 0-1. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Caleb Rowe, the assistant coach in the first base box. Pitching coach is Lance McMahon. Adam Arbor, the hitting coach. Coordinator of player development, Ryan I. Murray. Jaden Spencer is director of softball operations. AC Atinka, the athletic trainer. The 1-1. Duke with a fly ball that will fall just foul. Diving attempt by Rose from short, but she couldn't quite catch up with it. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Dukeshire.
And she's getting up a little gingerly. It was an awkward landing. She had the furthest run of anybody. Made a great diving effort. Looked like maybe that right leg kind of got caught on the grass. Again, it's getting a little sticky over there. It was muddy pregame. Just an awkward landing. Looks like she's okay, but I'm sure that was not exactly the most painless play.
Quite a divot.
Oh.
The PGA Championship over there.
Shout out to Scotty, making a run.
That's not a shock. The 1-2. Dukeshire swings and one in the dirt for strike 3. The ball gets away. And here comes Elistad. She's going to score. Brooke Elistad never stopped running on the wild pitch. And the strikeout brings home a run. It's now 2-1 Virginia Tech.
Well, I've always said, chase one in the dirt, good things will happen, right? I mean, this is a lackadaisical moment for Virginia Tech. They do everything right to get Dukeshire at first base, and then Yeager and Mazzarone are both standing there. Neither's calling for the ball, and Elistad just kept on running. Way to steal a run. Big-time momentum grab.
First pitch to Larissa Pruitt is high for ball 1. 2 out, nobody on. It's now 2-1 Virginia Tech. Pruitt on the year, batting .295, 43 of 146, 36 runs scored, 8 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, and 21 runs driven in.
Larissa, great day yesterday, 2 for 3.
Takes that for a strike, 1-1.
Not a great career batting average against Virginia Tech. It's .286, that's fine. But she's had 2 hits and driven in 3 runs all time against the Hokies.
The 1-1. Pruitt grounds this one to second. The slow roller to Castine. The throw is in time for out number 3 to retire the side, but Bama does get on the board here in the second inning, scoring a run on a wild pitch.
Yeah, you really like to see that. Just something to get yourself in the game. Now we get ready for the third. The third inning has been defensively and pitching-wise kind of the Achilles heel for Virginia Tech. Alabama's got to make sure they take care of business in the top half, though.
For the Tide in the second, 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left. We played 2. 2-1 Hokies here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from their field. The third inning is presented by Nukes. At Nukes, your food is always made to order in an open kitchen with the freshest ingredients. Visit them locally on University Boulevard or order online at nukes.com. Nukes is a proud supporter of Alabama softball. We move to the third inning. Virginia Tech with a 2-1 lead over Alabama. Due up for the Hokies here in the third. It'll be 4-5-6. Aldridge, Peck, and Martin. Jocelyn Brisky back out now for her third inning of work. Alabama pulled within 1, scoring a run on a wild pitch in the second inning after Virginia Tech scored 2 in the top of the first inning. And now we'll see what happens here in the third. And For that third inning, I'll turn things over to my partner, Gray Robertson.
Thanks, Tom. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah,
Eh,
here we go.
who's to say? I definitely don't know. But it's regional Saturday. This is the busiest day of the year. 32-team seasons, barring weather, will come to an end today. And the winner of this game is done for the day, which is almost as important as anything. Kylie Aldridge will lead off for the Hokies and take a first pitch strike. 0-1 on the DP for the Hokies, who singled and scored in the first inning.
Yeah, finding out of the loser's bracket is one of the toughest things to do in regional play in sports.
0-1 from Brisky. That drop misses low, 1-1.
It can be done. It has been done. But because then you get in the situation where you have to win 4 games in basically a 24-hour period.
Yeah. One to Aldridge. That was high. She went. Yep. 1-2 as they check down. Gill says yes.
Dr. Gilzayas.
Sure. Now the 1-2 to Kylie Aldridge. That drop misses low and in. 2-2. You're not getting that one today based on the zone we've seen.
No. Finishing off the sports staff for the Crimson Tide, strength and conditioning coach is Michelle Diltz, Nathan Sheehan, sports information director.
Back to it after this 2-2 from Brisky. Ooh, just got a piece of the rise. Still 2-2.
Video director Scott Moyer, equipment manager Sue Moore, and the photographer is Kent Gidley. For Virginia Tech, their head coach in his 7th season in Blacksburg is Pete DeMoore. Associate head coach Mike Lewis, Josh Johnson, and Jaime Mata, also working with the pitchers as assistant coaches.
Another 2-2. Misses low and away, full count. Another happy belated birthday to Pete's son. Turned 4 on Thursday. I think today is the Bluey birthday party, which, like, sounds awesome. Payoff to Aldridge is fouled away.
I think my 18-year-old's going to have a Bluey birthday party. I mean, that's...
I'm 28 and I'm down. Bluey's a great show. How could you not like Bluey?
If you're a communist.
Oh, okay. The payoff to Aldridge. Swing and a miss on a for sure ball 4. Drop in, gets her. And it's another K for Brisky, her second, 1 down here in the 3rd.
Yeah, good job there, though. She set that up with a couple of pitches before. Just fooled Aldridge to making that swing on the 3-2.
I'll bring up Bree Peck, RBI single in the 1st. Little blooper out to right. First pitch is bowled in for ball 1.
So the win, Alabama would advance to the championship game of the Tuscaloosa Regional tomorrow, taking on whoever fights through the rest of the day.
And it is a fight, let me tell you. 1-0 to Peck. Drop fouled off, 1-1.
Airtime would be 12:45 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. The loss would knock the Tide into the loser's bracket, and the Tide would come back later today with an elimination game against the winner of the next game between Belmont and Jackson State. Airtime of that game would be 3:45, but hard pass on that.
I want to watch softball all day. 1-1. Peck lifts that towards left. That's going to be a foul ball. Home run distance, but certainly and thankfully not the direction. 1-2.
And that's the thing about this team, this Virginia Tech offense. Yeah, they have Corey McMillan, but there's a lot of pop up and down that lineup.
Everybody's kind of a threat to get one at some point. But now it's just a 1-2 to Bree Peck. One of the leaders. Changeup is hit out to right, and on the run is Pruitt, who is in a bit this time. And she makes a catch for the second out in this 2-1 ball game that the Hokies lead. Nobody on here in the top of the 3rd.
Big second out there. And yeah, really good job there by Pruitt. Good positioning to start things off, and she was taking off as soon as that ball was hit. She knew it was going to be shallow. Nice catch.
Zabriskie looking for a clean inning against Trinity Martin, who takes a first pitch strike. Martin hit into a fielder's choice in the 1st. That was a play at the plate. Virginia Tech had a lot of chances to get way more than the 2
that
they got in the top of the 1st. Now Briskie's really settling in. 0-1. In there for a strike, off speed, 0-2. Cook a rise.
Sure.
0-2 from Brisky. Oh, went low. Missed inside. 1-2. Good 0-2 pitch location. Now the 1-2 to Trinity Martin. High chopper to second base that Hevlin catches and throws to first. And it is a 1-2-3 inning for Jocelyn Brisky. Virginia Tech leads it 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the third. But, Tom, dare I say the momentum is now kind of shifted towards the Alabama side right now.
It certainly has. You got your first 1-2-3 inning on the defensive side, and now you have the top of the order second time through coming up to start things off in the bottom.
We'll head there now. Virginia Tech 2, Alabama 1 as we go to the home half of the third here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. At Nukes, your food is always made to order in an open kitchen with the freshest ingredients. Visit them locally on University Boulevard, just over there, or order online at nukes.com, or use the app, which I do, which is awesome. Nukes is a proud supporter of Alabama softball. The Tide will have the top of the order due up in the bottom of the third against Emma Mazzarone. Virginia Tech leads at 2-1. And before we bring you the home half of the inning, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Thank you.
Vandergriff, Johnson, Hevlin against Mazzarone. We'll see the adjustments made by the Tide offense. And as we said, going to break, Tom, feels like Alabama's got the momentum. Now you got to do something with it.
Yeah, you know, somebody like Audrey Vandergriff got to get her on base and start things off. Bama in the first time through got a walk from Callie Hevlin with 2 outs, but just took too long to get things started there in the first. In the second, you got the leadoff man on and scored. So I like the correlation.
Stats.
Yes.
Vandergriff is reaching 57% of the time when she leads off an inning. See what the play is. As Mazzarone gets ready. First pitch misses low, 1-0. And I think, again, it kind of goes against Audrey's nature, even though she's walked 34 times. I think you just got to kind of be hunting one thing, and anything else, just let it go.
Yep.
One 0 to Vandergriff. That's a strike. 1-1. Off speed, hit foul, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Audrey Vandergriff.
Coming up later today here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, 2:45 the airtime, Alabama baseball at Florida. Looking to win that series to cap off the regular season.
Would be helpful. 1-2. Again, foul.
Got the win yesterday to even up that series at 1 apiece. A lot of people think that might have sewn up a regional hosting spot for the Crimson Tide, but you'd certainly like to take away all doubt.
Yeah, win that game, maybe get a couple in the SEC tournament.
Or just win it.
Sure. 1-2. That might have hit Vandergriff on the foot, but she moved back. It was low and in, 2-2.
Still should have just gone. We were talking about that, yes. Just
go.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Make you come back? Okay. But you never know.
Oh, it didn't hit me? Oh, okay.
Thought it did.
Might be. Now the 2-2. High and tight, full count. That pitch has not been called all day.
It's a good pitch because it's almost impossible to hit.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to be a called strike today. On the inside, river onto the lefties.
Now a 3-2 from Mazzarone. Ball 4. Audrey plays the game, takes the walk, and here we go. Lead off a board for Alabama in the bottom of the 3rd.
49 stolen bases on the year for Audrey Vandergriff. Trying to hit that 50 stolen base mark.
Yeager has thrown out 6 of 40 attempts. Will there be a pitch out first pitch? We'll see. Lauren Johnson's in. See if Vandergriff takes off. First pitch to Lojo. Vandergriff takes off. The throw was way high and got out to the outfield. Audrey will now head for third base, slide in safely. That's how you do it. Alabama with a runner 60 feet away after a first pitch ball to Lauren Johnson. And nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
That was a very poor throw.
It's not ideal. And this was the opposite of a pitch out. That was low and in. And I think Pete Moore might challenge for a leaving early here. Which, sure.
Well, I think she's just fast. But. So this is actually reviewable.
Yes. And I did, by the way, get confirmation on last night's challenge from LSU.
Okay.
You can challenge it anytime a runner advances.
So it doesn't have to be
anytime. You cannot do it if it's a home run or anything like a ground rule double or something, anything out of the park.
Gotcha. So as it stands right now, it's a stolen base and runner on 3rd.
And people have been trying to get Audrey on this all year, and she just told Murph, she's like, no.
No, I did not.
Let's see.
I don't think it's, I think it's just good base running.
Let's see. I'm going to need the pause. And that's fine. It's fine. Perfectly timed.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like, I need it frozen to see it. I think it's perfectly timed. If she's early, it's like 0.1 second.
Yeah, I don't think, It's out of her,
Yeah. I would be surprised if this is overturned. But also, look at Gilzayas chatting away with Kelly. I will also say the length scares me. Because the earlier review took a minute.
Yeah.
It's all centralized in Pittsburgh, as we talked about. I think the toe is still on the bag. And even if it's not, like, can you say definitively?
Right.
If this is upheld, that's stolen base 50 for Audrey in 58 attempts. If it's changed, then that's a bummer.
If it's changed, I might throw a pin.
It's happened before.
Vandergriff right now currently entered today's game at 4th all-time Alabama single-season stolen bases with 49, trying to catch Brittany Rogers, who had 52 in 2009.
She was fast.
Very much so. Would have to go on quite a run to catch Brittany Rogers in 2008 or Kayla Bro. Rogers, the all-time leader at 60. Bro had 58 in 2011.
The other thing we got to remember with the replay stuff, again, all regionals are going through Pittsburgh, so this might be taking a while because there is a possibility
of another review
happening, and this just being in the queue and taking a minute.
Also, Hawkeye not available
for
NCAA tournament play. So there are some cameras here that Alabama has that we saw throughout the season are great that are not being used.
All right, we have a call. Here they come.
NCAA.
I don't like how long this took, and I don't like Alabama's history in challenges. So let's all just collectively hold our breath and hope for the best.
After
She's safe. Everything's fine. Runner on third, nobody out.
I did not like any of that.
No. That was very dramatic, Joe Havenhill. I like your style, but also, I'm sorry, that was Don.
Don Brown.
That was Don. And when you got a track star,
Oh, yeah.
if anyone knows about timing on a start, it's a track star. Now a runner at third. 1-0 count on Lauren Johnson, who grounded out her first time up. Tying run, 60 feet away. The 1-0 misses low and away, 2-0. And as I look up, I see 2 arms warming up in the Tech bullpen, and one is indeed Emma Limley. To Lojo. Hit towards Emma Limley. Let's see if she makes a catch. Oh, just past her reach. 2-1.
This goes without saying, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Alabama has to at least tie this game up.
Yes.
This thing.
Because then if you don't, the momentum is gone. It's right back to Virginia Tech. To Lojo. High, 3-1. When do you make the move if you're Pete? Does a walk here with Hevlin coming up? If Limley's ready, do you pull the trigger now?
I could see it.
(3-1) hit to second and caught by Castine on a line for the first out. Hard to hit it better if you're Lojo, trying to go opposite way. But Castine was perfectly placed, and Vandergrift stays at third.
Just the toughest of luck there for Lojo in Alabama.
Man, if she's anywhere else, that's a base hit. This game's tied. Callie Hevlin walked in the first. First pitch high, ball 1.
And one of the reasons why I said you at least have to tie this, if not take the lead in this inning, is because of the part of the order that you're in.
Yeah. Callie hitting .370 this year with runners in scoring position. That curveball comes in. Don't see that all that much from Mazzarone. Strike, 1-1. Just got to get this to the outfield. 1-1. Callie fouled it off, 1-2. Also, too, the threat that one might get by Yeager. 1-2 to Hevlin. High, 2-2.
Alabama scored their first run on a wild pitch.
Walked off the game last night on a, quote, wild pitch. We saw the highlight again, and I was like, oh, boy. I hit the catcher in the glove.
Might should have been a pass ball.
It might have been a strike. 2-2 to Hevlin. That is going to do the job. Out to center field. It might do even more. Callie Hevlin hit it out. Consistent Callie said not just to the outfield, out of the yard. 2-run homer. Bama leads it 3-2 in the third.
She went down and got that one. That was a golf shot to the deepest part of the park. And Callie Hevlin, the team leader in homers, adds another and gives Alabama the 3-2 lead. An Alabama home run brought to you by the Alabama Crimson Tide mobile app. Keep up with everything Alabama with the Alabama Crimson Tide mobile app, presented by Cannons Bank. Download now for free at the App Store and Google Play.
With 2 strikes, too. That's such a good piece of hitting from Callie Hevlin. That's why she's become a leader. Marley Giles with the bases clear and 1 out will take an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Mar reached on an error in the first inning. And if there are any questions about the momentum, it is on the side of the Tide. Oh, 1. This is low and away, 1-1. Bases clear, 1 out, 3-2 Alabama against Virginia Tech. Just had to throw a punch back. And Alabama's done that in the inning where Virginia Tech has allowed the most runs this year. 1-1 on the ground to short. Rose has it. Good throw to first. 2 gone.
So
God,
that
that was
now
awesome.
for
That's so cool.
That now for Callie. Her 14th homers, her 14th home run. She now has 46 RBIs, tied for the team lead there as well. With Brooke Ellisad.
Yeah, Brooke wants to grab the lead back. A
Sure.
little later, I wouldn't be upset.
Maybe this inning, Salem gets on, Brooke will have a chance.
Here is Salem Hawkins. Fly out to right in the first. First pitch low and away. Ball 1. And they just showed Cassie Grizzard and Limley warming up. Now, I wonder, like, do you have to have a lead again for Limley to come in? Or does Pete say, I trust my offense to get 2?
Yeah.
Let's bring her in the 4th, hold Alabama to the 3 runs. We'll see. 1-0 misses away, 2-0. This is why when you have to travel and you're the 2 seed, it's so hard to make pitching decisions.
Yeah.
Ooh, strike called on the outer half, 2-1. Sure.
Starting to get that now to the righties, getting that call on the outside edge.
Lefty's not a shot, but
No.
righties.
Even though it's the same spot. The plate doesn't move.
What? 2-1. It was the same spot, and Hawkins fouls it off, 2-2. Salem this year hitting .326 with 2 outs. The 2-2. Off speed outside, and I have no idea how Hawkins fouled that off. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another 2-2 for Mazzarone. That's in the dirt, all the way to the backstop, full count.
Mazzarone about to throw her 27th pitch of the inning.
This is kind of her thing.
And her 61st of the game.
Payoff to Salem Hawkins from Emma Mazzarone is swung on and missed for strike 3. That was just Emma Mazzarone saying, I'm going to throw it 90 miles per hour. Best of luck to you. But Alabama does the damage, Tom. Second hit of the ball game is a 2-run shot by Callie Hevlin. And the Tide has a lead. And keep in mind, too, how significant that upholding call of the leaving early was to make sure Vandegrift was on base. So the 2-run homer gives the Tide the lead.
Absolutely. Obviously, if she's not on base, it's just a solo shot and we're tied. But a 2-run shot giving Alabama the lead and the momentum continuing to be with the Crimson Tide. And now it'll be up to Jocelyn Brisky to come out and keep the Hokies where they are and keep this lead here as we head to the 4th.
Let's do it. Off to the 4th inning. Alabama 3, Virginia Tech 2 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We've played 3. Alabama leads Virginia Tech 3-2. And now off to the 4th. Brisky back out in the circle, facing the bottom of the Hokie order. Leggett, Rose, and Castine. And Tom, Alabama now fully has the momentum. Best way to keep it is for Brisky to keep on motoring. and it's a good part of the order to try and get another 1, 2, 3 frame.
Yeah, you got the bottom of the order due up. Don't let this lineup turn over to McMillan here in this inning.
So how'd I do?
Good job.
Okay, thanks.
Well done once again.
I toss it back to my partner, Tom Canterbury.
That's now 2 games in a row you have taken the lead in the 3rd inning.
Look, I'm just a man here doing the words.
I am merely a man.
I'm just an individual.
Emily Leggett will lead things off. She singled in the first and thought it was a 2 RBI single. It ended up just being a 1 RBI single as Bree Peck was thrown out at home on an overturned call with replay, keeping it just 2 runs in the first inning, and Alabama now has a 3-2 lead. Justin Brisky, who was about to be taken out of the game, instead stayed in, and now she's gone 3 innings, gone 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 60 pitches, and 35 strikes thrown by Brisky so far here in the ball game. Emily Leggett to lead things off. And the first pitch is lined to right, and that's going to get all the way to the wall. Pruitt will field it and get it in, but a first pitch leadoff double for Emily Leggett starts things off here in the 4th as Virginia Tech looks to answer back after Alabama took the lead in the 3rd. It was just laced to right field. Got around on one. It looks like we're going to see a pinch runner on second for Leggett as Nora Abramovich.
I
nailed
got
it.
Yeah,
I pretty much
it was
had
fine.
it.
That's okay.
Nora A is what we call her.
Nora. Man, first pitch swinging. We'll see if Virginia Tech gets more aggressive here as now they play from behind.
So pinch runner on second. And Annika Rose, the batter. She reached on an error her first time, squaring around to bunt, and takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Remember, Crimson Tide Sports Network coverage continues with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, Thursday afternoons on all Crimson Tide Sports Network social media outlets. The 1-0. That bunt is down. Elistad fields it and throws to third, and Abramovich is out at third as the bunt wasn't a bad one, but Elistad was charging in and made the play, and a relatively easy throw to third to get that out.
That's called work and practice. I mean, this is all about communication. Alabama has a lot of those defensive little things queued up, and Hawkins wasn't in an obstruction position. Wouldn't have mattered. She was hosed.
So now Rose on first, 1 away for Rachel Castine, and the first pitch to her is in there for a called strike. So Rose reaches on the fielder's choice, a 5-6 putout of the pinch runner. The 0-1. Swung on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes on Castine, who laid down the sacrifice bunt her first time. Risky looks in, and here comes the 0-2. High and inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crimson Drive live each Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Time, so be sure to join host Roger Hoover for the latest on Alabama athletics. One, 2. Too far outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Speaking of Crimson Tide Sports Network coverage and the social media outlets, that's where you can find the booth cam.
Oh.
Brought to you by MLB The Show 25.
Ethan's here.
Yes. 2-2 is high, and the count's full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in, however you are doing so.
And to the Hokies who might be listening as well, welcome. Whoever you are, we're glad you're here.
And the payoff. Grounded foul. And Castine went to the ground. Did that one go off her foot all the way down that far? I didn't even see that it went down like that.
Well, and, it is a little bit of a choppy infield today with that weather that came through. They had the tarp out, but it was raining really early this morning.
Oh, yeah, that did go right off the top of her left foot.
This is obviously Hate to state the obvious, but I will.
Sure.
Just a gigantic moment here. 3-2, McMillan waiting on deck. Got to get this out.
Payoff is popped up on the infield to short. Hawkins settles underneath it. She'll make the catch for out number 2.
All right, so now what do? Corey McMillan coming in. I am like totally fine with still walking her. Like I know first base isn't open, but you got 2 bases open. And with one swing, she can immediately change the tenor of this game. That's kind of her whole MO.
McMillan, 2 plate appearances, 2 walks, and a run scored. First pitch to her. It is a drop ball a bit too low for ball 1.
So interesting what Corey McMillan has done to reinvent herself. Her swing is so different from when she arrived at Virginia Tech. If you're watching and listening, you see how she's a little bit more upright.
The 1-0 is a soft liner. That's going to fall for a base hit over Hawkins into center field. And runners now moves to third, and that is a single for McMillan to put runners on the corners and 2 out.
So that upright stance allows her to kind of spray the ball to all fields. That's what she's able to do right here, go opposite way. This just has enough loft. Hawkins' first step is not enough to where she's able to get back there, but honestly, if Corey McMillan's going to get a hit on you, I am okay with a single. Good base running by Rose to get to third.
But again, it's what you do with Lynch afterwards. First pitch to her. Fouled away for strike 1. Lynch is 0 for 1 with a walk and a pop out. Freshman from Rising Sun, Maryland.
Lovely spot.
Sounds like it. The 0-1. Waits on it, pops it up, foul ground. Giles will take a look, and oh, it's just foul.
Ooh.
Bounced over the sombrero. Finley Pitek knocked over her White Claw. What are we doing?
Almost hit Jenna Johnson.
Jeez. Everyone calm down.
All right, this 0-2's got to be way away.
The 0-2 pitch to Lynch. Grounded foul. On a drop ball, the count remains. No balls and 2 strikes.
It was a way away from the zone, well inside. This is really impressive barrel control by the freshman to even get a piece of that.
2 outs, runners on the corners. Bama leads at 3-2, holding on to that lead here in the top of the 4th. The 0-2 pitch. Drops in, called strike 3, and Lynch goes down on strikes on just a nasty pitch by Jocelyn Brisky to wrap it up here in the 4th.
I've had trouble identifying Susan's strike zone. This is a changeup that is high, but it drops at the end in the zone. Typically, those aren't called for strikes, but if Susan wants to ring her up, I'm happy with it, and that is a big confidence pitch right there by Jocelyn Brisky as once again Corey McMillan gets on, but nobody behind you hurts you.
You know why it was called a strike? Because it was a strike.
Well,
and she's out, and that'll do it for the Hokies here in the 4th. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We head to the bottom of the 4th, 3-2 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Crimson Tide with a 3-2 lead over Virginia Tech. Due up for Alabama here in the 4th. It'll be Elistad, Hubbard, and Dukeshire. 6-7-8 against Emma Mazzarone. Back out for her 4th inning of work. Mazzarone's gone 3, giving up 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 61 pitches, and 32 strikes thrown by the sophomore. Overall, Alabama 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. For Virginia Tech, 2 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors, 6 runners left on base, including 2 at the end of last inning. And Gray, as they talk with Patrick Murphy on the television, we'll take an opportunity for us to have our first scoreboard update of the day, brought to you by the Out of the Box podcast. Check out the latest episode of the Out of the Box podcast, part of the Softball America Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a follow at OutofTheBox_pod on the X. Like, subscribe, and share. And as we talked about, one of the best, if not the best, days on the softball calendar here on Regional Saturday.
Yeah, we'll start in College Station. The #1 overall seed Texas A&M Aggies will face Liberty in the winner's bracket game at 1 o'clock on ESPN+. Elimination game coming up, Marist and St. Francis. After that, Norman as well. They are not underway. Cal and Oklahoma will start in the winner's bracket game. That is also at 1 Central, Omaha, Boston U in the elimination game. And we'll make sure we get to one that is going. In Gainesville, bottom of the 4th, Taylor Shoemaker just hit her 2nd home run of the game. Florida leads FAU 7-3. Elimination game later is Mercer and Georgia Tech.
That was a game that FAU led 3-2.
Yeah.
Brooke Elstad will lead things off. She walked and scored back in the 2nd. First pitch is a 2-hopper to first. Leggett is there. She makes a stop, steps on the bag for out number 1.
Let's go to Fayetteville. They're in the top of the 2nd in what could be a great game today. No score, Arkansas and Oklahoma State. Elimination game later, Indiana and St. Louis.
Mighty Hubbard now steps in. Got a fly out her first time, 0 for 1. Hubbard, the freshman from Huntsville. Trying to get things started here in the 4th.
That flyout was really well struck out to right field, too.
First pitch, squares around a bunt, pulls it back for ball 1.
Let's go to Tallahassee. They're going to the bottom of the 2nd. Florida State leads South Florida 2-0 in the winner's bracket game. Elimination game later, Auburn against Robert Morris.
It's always a battle when those two get together.
Happens all the time.
The 1-0. Hubbard checked her swing, went too far around. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Let's go to Austin. Winner's bracket game, top of the 2nd. Texas and Michigan tied at 1. Could be a really good battle. Elimination game later is UCF versus Eastern Illinois.
The 1-1 bounces in, 2 balls and a strike.
Knoxville. They also got started at 11 a.m. Central and currently bottom 5. Tennessee leads Ohio State 2-0. Carlin Pickens doing her thing today. Elimination game later is North Carolina against Miami of Ohio.
With the Buckeyes staying in striking distance.
Yeah, and then they've got Pop. Could tie it up with 1 swing.
Timeout called to reset the pitch clock by Yeager behind the plate. Hubbard sets back in with a 2-1 count. 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 4th. And that one's fouled away, 2-2.
Let's go to Columbia, South Carolina. The 8 overall seed South Carolina Gamecocks. No score, top of the 2nd against North Florida. And keep in mind, because North Florida's the 3 seed, they are the home team in this game. So after getting their first ever NCAA tournament win yesterday against Virginia, chance in Columbia to walk it off if it came to that.
2-2. Hubbard takes it outside. The count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Later tonight, UCLA San Diego State in the winner's bracket game in Los Angeles. Elimination game, UC Santa Barbara and Arizona State. San Diego State 2 7th-inning home runs to beat the Sun Devils on Friday night.
Here comes the payoff to Hubbard. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Hubbard chased there, and there's 2 away.
Man, that's ball 4. It's a good drop, but that Mazzarone has not gotten that in the zone all day, and it wouldn't have been close. That's kind of a freshman-y moment there for Hubbard.
So now 2 out, nobody on for Abby Dukeshire. She struck out her first time. Junior from Kindred, North Dakota, looking to get things going here with some 2-out production. First pitch. Grounded, just foul. Just to the left of third base bag. No balls and a strike.
Let's go to Baton Rouge. Winner's bracket game. Top of the 2nd, Nebraska up on Southeastern, 3-1. Elimination game later, UConn versus LSU as last night. Southeastern, SELA, if you will, beat the Tigers, the number 10 overall seed, 4-3 in Baton Rouge.
The 0-1. A little bit too far outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Coming up a bit in Clemson, Northwestern and Clemson. Winners bracket game, elimination game tonight is Kentucky and USC Upstate.
1-1. Duke takes that one a bit low. 2 balls and a strike.
In Lubbock at 1 o'clock, it'll be winners bracket matchup between Mississippi State and Niger, Texas Tech. Losers bracket game, Washington and Brown.
The 2-1. Ooh. Duke checked her swing on an inside pitch, went too far around, says Joe Havenhill, at first. And the count's even up, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Later today in Tucson, winners bracket game, Ole Miss and Arizona. Elimination game, Santa Clara and Grand Canyon.
Two comes in too high, and the count's full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It will be Randy Rolling versus Danny Drugmuller in Durham. Winners bracket game, Duke versus Georgia. Elimination game, Howard and Coastal.
RR versus DD.
Of course. And finally in Eugene, because we know what's happening in Tuscaloosa, Oregon Stanford in the winners bracket game later tonight. Binghamton and Weber State in the elimination game. And I will see if anything has changed. It has not. We will let you know when things do shift across the country here on this wonderful Saturday in college softball.
Here in Tuscaloosa, it's 3-2 Alabama. 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 4th. Abby Dukeshire with the full count. The pitch is low for ball 4. So Abby Dukeshire draws a 2-out walk to keep the inning going here in the 4th. And bring up Larissa Pruitt, who grounded out her first time.
And that ground out by Larissa was on a changeup.
See a pinch runner. Kinley Pate will come in to run for Abby Dukeshire.
So that tells me she's taken off, right? Or at least it's going to be a hit and run of some sort. Because with 2 outs, you wouldn't bring in a pinch runner in this situation unless you're trying to cook something up.
Probably. Pruitt, the junior from Hartselle, Alabama. Need to get some 2-out production. 244 her average with 2 outs on the year. First pitch to her is inside for ball 1.
And keep in mind, we mentioned it earlier, she's got RBIs against Virginia Tech. She had the 2 RBI double that wrapped up the run rule win in the 5th inning. That was off of Mazaron.
The 1-0. Lined right to short. No, she dropped it at short. The throw is going to be not in time at first. Pruitt beat it out, hustling out of the box. And the second error of the day by Annika Rose keeps this inning alive.
Wow.
We'll see if Pete DeMore might.
This is
They've already used 1 challenge.
all, yeah, you can't hear. This is all the way kind of incredible. Oh boy, she might have been out. It's very close.
Hurry up and throw the pitch.
Well, I think you got 30 seconds. We got to be past that.
Yeah. Audrey Vandergrift now will step up. Runners on first and second, 2 outs.
That is really, really stunning. 4th error of the year on Rose, 2 in this game.
First pitch to Vandergrift is outside for ball 1. Vandergrift's 0 for 1. Grounded out in the first, walked and scored in the 3rd. I mean, Rose was absolutely positioned perfectly.
I think Larissa might have beaten it, but it was simultaneous again. I mean,
Yeah.
Welcome to the postseason. The margins are ridiculously fine.
1-0, high and away, 2 balls and no strikes. That's 3 errors on the day for Virginia Tech. As you mentioned, the best defensive team in the conference in the ACC.
Yeah. This is quite stunning, but this is yet another gift that the Hokies have given you. You've got to take advantage.
Abby Dukeshire, not a regular 8-hole type hitter, but you did walk the 8-hole. The 9-hole gets the error with 2 outs. And an opportunity here with Audrey Vandergrift, a 2-0 count on a player who has had some big extra base hits on the year. a top 10 finalist for Freshman of the Year, all region as well as all conference. Just a big opportunity to put some distance between yourself and the Hokies. It's just now 3-2.
Well, and again, like when you're playing a team like Virginia Tech, if it's only a one-run game, man, they've got so much pop in the lineup. It's one swing and boom.
Yeah.
So any separation you can create is so key.
The crooked number is just massive.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting in the circle is wrapped up. And here comes the 2-0 pitch to Audrey Vandegrift.
Wow.
Oh, that's a called strike.
Okay.
2-1.
Susie.
All right.
Mother status revoked. For now, we'll see. Long game.
The 2-1. Vandegrift lines it to left. That's going to fall for a base hit. Rounding third and coming in to score is Pate. They'll throw back behind Pruitt. She's safe. And an RBI single for Audrey Vandegrift. Makes it now 4-2 Crimson Tide.
Well, Mazaron is trying to get her with this outside drop ball. And Vandegrift just goes with it. I mean, man, she is so good. I love actually Virginia Tech's play here to try and get Pruitt off second. There was not going to be a chance at home, and they almost got her.
Yeah.
Good base running by Larissa to slide back in safely, but that is exactly why, A, you bring in that pinch runner.
Yep.
I mean, it worked out. And also, that's why with 2 outs, you say, so what? This was an inning of, frankly, kind of nothing, and then it became something. And last nugget, you took advantage of a mistake.
Yeah.
Alabama's been pretty perfect in that regard today. That might be the end of the day for Mazaron, perhaps. We'll see. I don't know. It's not Pete, so I'm confused.
I think they're also checking because Alabama had a re-entry, which might have been what Patrick Murphy, remember a couple innings ago when he came out and talked to Susan Eds about something.
So now you go from create separation to go for the kill shot.
Yep.
This is your jugular moment right here.
Lojo's 0 for 2. Lined out her last time on a great piece of hitting. Lines this one foul, sending him scattering. Bray Hodges gets out of the way nicely in the bullpen.
And now the Box Podcast scoreboard update. Tennessee has added a pair of runs. Now 4-0 Lady Vols in the top of the 6th. It's probably enough for Pickens.
You would think. The 0-1 to Lojo. Fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Bama leads at 4-2.
Just an appropriately gritty game between these two teams.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. And first base was occupied.
But 2 outs, Tom.
Right. And Virginia Tech never threw the ball down to first.
I think Yeager was saying, I caught it, what do you mean? This is challengeable.
Right.
Let's
it looked
see.
like it was in the dirt. No,
I think she caught it. Yeah.
If she held on to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a miss by Susan.
But she doesn't have, I will say she doesn't have a great angle for that.
No, that one's a hard one.
So she's going to get some help from the other umpires to see if they can save a challenge from Pete DeMoore here.
I think if I'm Pete, I have to use this one.
Yeah.
Callie Hevlin's about to step in. This is, I mean, I'm pretty sure it scoots into the glove. I think this is a wise challenge by Coach DeMoore.
Virginia Tech is challenging the previous play. The call on the field was the ball was not cleanly catched and caught and hit the ground before the catcher received it. Players under review.
I
there you go.
appreciate Don Brown's use of catched.
Yeah.
It's not appropriately catched.
It happens sometimes. So,
I mean, I think this will probably be changed. If it's not, huge because A, Virginia Tech's out of challenges.
Yeah.
And you got bases loaded for Callie Hevlin. But like,
I think the main thing is whether or not it stayed in the glove. I think she caught it cleanly, but then does it stay in the glove when she tries to grab it?
Do we know any NFL officials that we can call about the definition of a catch?
Wow. It might have bounced.
It might have bounced in, Tom.
I don't know, Gray.
I don't know, Tom. Let's ask Jim Nance.
So if, as it's called, it'll be bases loaded, 2 outs for Callie Hevlin. If it gets overturned, it'll be a strikeout in the end of the game. That
at the end of the inning.
Excuse me, the end of the inning.
Although if it were the end of the
great.
game, that'd
I'd be down,
sure.
down with that.
Call it.
Stop the count.
We out. Wow. Scoreboard update. How about a 3-run homer for FAU? 7-6 Gators in the top of the 5th.
That Chase Keegan Rothrock.
Yeah. Tom, this might. I don't know. Is there indisputable evidence?
That might. Yeah, I think it hits dirt.
All right, but can we?
And then look at it, bounces around a little bit.
Yeah. Can I provide a coaching moment as a non-coach?
Sure.
Whether you think you caught it or not, who cares?
Just
throw to first base.
What are we doing?
I am not sure what Zoe Yeager was thinking right there.
Right.
Like she spent more time arguing with Susan
because
instead of just throw to first.
Lojo didn't take right off.
No.
You had plenty of time. Just throw it.
I mean, no matter what the call is here, if I'm Pete DeMoore, I am vexed by the fact that
I'm baffled by my defense as a whole.
Yeah, this has been a very uncharacteristic game defensively for the Hokies, and that was just such a preventable mistake.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Zoe Yeager was right, but if she was not right, then that is one of the bigger mental mishaps in a postseason game that I can remember. It's amazing that it comes down to what Pittsburgh sees.
The bat does not touch the ball.
I cannot guarantee that is in the glove.
It might clip. It might clip the dirt. And again, the call on the field is not caught cleanly.
This sport is so stupid.
The more I see this extreme zoom in, I think it hit the ground first. I think it's very close. I still think the bigger point here is just
throw to first. Throw to first.
Right. Yeah.
Like what does it hurt?
Right.
If there's any the umpire's telling you too.
Yeah.
Throw to first. Here's the call from Don Brown.
Don, here we go.
What a monumental moment in this game.
So knock on wood that the umpire might continues to work.
After review, the call on the field has been reversed.
All right. Well, there we go.
Okay.
So it is a clean catch, and it is out number 3. And that will end the inning for the Crimson Tide here in the 4th, but Alabama does add a run here in the 4th inning, an unearned run, taking advantage of the error.
Well, that's the key thing. In the postseason, when you get a gift, you better take advantage. I'm a little surprised they found something indisputable, but who knows what angles. Maybe they've got Hawkeye available there in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure. Either way, you hope that little pause doesn't stall your momentum, because right now Jocelyn Brisky is cooking, and she's got to keep it up.
For the Tide here in the 4th, a run on a hit. There was 1 error and 2 runners left. We played 4. It is 4-2 Crimson Tide here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from their field. 4 runs on 3 hits, an error, and 2 left for Alabama. For Virginia Tech, 2 runs on 5 hits, 3 errors, and 6 runners left on base. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Due up for the Hokies here in the 5th, 3-4-5, Yeager, Aldridge, and Peck against Jocelyn Brisky. Her first pitch of this inning will be her 77th of the game. She's held the Hokies scoreless since Virginia Tech scored 2 in the first inning. We'll start things off with the catcher, Zoe Yeager, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Yeager, the sophomore from Neptune Beach, Florida. As we said, almost made just a massive mistake by not throwing it down to first base. It was eventually overturned into a clean catch on a 3rd strike in that last inning.
See what her mindset is in this AB. Has not been super productive, but has been great in the latter half of the year.
First pitch. It's a little low for ball 1.
Yeager, 3rd team All-Region announced this week.
1-0 is high, 2-0.
Virginia Tech was 6 that made All-Region. I think you can pretty much lock in Corey McMillan as an All-American. We'll see if
I would think, yeah,
some of the others make it in. I think Alabama's got a couple contenders for sure.
2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Gray, do you know the date?
No. Don't even have a joke.
I have no idea.
It's the day after yesterday.
That is correct. It's May 17th, Greg.
Oh, cool. Let's see if it's anybody's birthday.
The 2-1. In there for a strike, 2-2. I know one thing, Alabama undefeated on this date.
Oh, boy.
8-0.
I'd never like it when Alabama's undefeated on this date.
They've outscored opponents entering today 50-7 on this date.
Good gracious.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Got her on the drop ball, and there's one away here in the 5th.
Can we talk pitch sequencing real quick before we discuss on this date?
Please.
So you go low, miss, rise ball, miss, and then screwball, curve, middle for the strike. Then you go strike, drop, and then you go drop out of a zone. That's just really good pitch building right there by Lance McMahon.
Kylie Aldridge steps in. The first pitch to her is a little bit low for ball 1. Aldridge is 1 for 2, singled and scored in the first and struck out in the 3rd. The 1-0 pitch. Called strike, 1-1. Alabama has claimed 3 regional championships on this date, beating Jacksonville State 4-1 in 2008, Texas 7-0 in 2009, and Washington 11-1 in 2015. The 1-1, low, 2-1. Last time out on this date was last season when Bama knocked off USC Upstate 1-0 in the opening game of the 2024 Tuscaloosa Regional for the Crimson Tide.
That was quite a contest. Upstate always a tricky regional squad.
The 2-1, Aldridge with a foul ball, 3rd base side, and it will get just out of play.
Ooh.
Into the bullpen.
Almost hit Jared. Jack Fickner over there. Caitlin Riley with a popsicle.
Popsicles have been big here this weekend.
I didn't realize the trend was back. That popsicles were back like Crocs. Didn't think you'd hear that today.
I did not. The 2-2, low and inside, and the count's full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Back like Crocs. Here comes the payoff pitch to Aldridge. That one is laced to right center field, and that's out of here. Solo homer from Kylie Aldridge. Pulls the Hokies within 1. It's now 4-3 Crimson Tide.
This is why we were so adamant about the need for that extra run in the bottom of the 4th because of the potential in the Hokies lineup beyond Corey McMillan. Curveball that just leaks over the white. Aldridge is not necessarily on time. She's a little bit early, but this is pure barrel.
Yeah.
And absolutely tomahawked it right out to the Brickyard. But only a solo homer. They're going to hit one out. Make sure it's just the 1 run.
Bree Peck, the batter. First pitch to her is a ground ball up the middle. Nice play on the second in-between hop by Hawkins. The throws in time to get Peck for out number 2.
And a very important out after the homer by Brisky. I'm intrigued to see Peck be aggressive there, but great job by Hawkins ranging over to her left. And the throw was a little wayward. Good stretch by Dukeshire to make the catch.
Trini Martin steps in, takes the first pitch over the middle for a ball.
Scoreboard update going to the bottom of the 6th. It's now 4-2 Tennessee over Ohio State. Couple unearned runs for the Buckeyes.
The 1-0. Fouled away, 1-1. Martin's 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice in the first, grounded out in the third.
Reese Atwood just hit a 3-run homer for Texas. It's now, and Katie Stewart just hit a solo homer. 5-1 over Michigan, top 3. And Oklahoma State with the early 1-0 lead on Arkansas, top 3.
The 1-1. Oh, that's to the backstop. Brisky shaking her pitching hand after throwing that one. Obviously didn't do what it was supposed to do. 2-1. It's a touch outside. 3 balls and a strike now on Martin. 2 out, nobody on. It's 4-3 Crimson Tide. Solo shot by Kylie Aldridge in this inning, pulling the Hokies within 1. The 3-1. High for ball 4.
Not the hitter you want to walk right there. Just the 9th walk drawn by Martin this year, and that was such an opportunity because you're bringing up Leggett, who's 2 for 2, and if you gotten that out, 6th inning would have been the bottom part of the Hokie order.
See a pinch runner for Martin on first. Lila Blackwell.
She'll probably stay in to play left, I would think. That's kind of been Virginia Tech's strategy a good bit of the year. Also great speed on base.
As you mentioned, Leggett is 2 for 2. Double, a single, and an RBI. First pitch is low for ball 1.
A lot of pitches for Brisky in this game, and out comes Lance to have a word with Joss.
Her next pitch will be her 95th of the game.
Give you another scoreboard update. Now 4-0 Florida State on USF. Bottom 3. Georgia 2-0 on Duke. Bottom 1 in Durham. OU Cal coming up at the top of the hour. A&M Liberty. It'll be Escobar versus Kennedy. And Kennedy in the circle for Texas Tech against Delaney Everett for Mississippi State. The lefty getting the start today.
Both Caitlin Riley and Ailey Johnson are in the Alabama bullpen. And I think Lance McMahon got warned as he was heading back to the dugout.
You got to be careful.
Yep.
I think he's frustrated that a couple balls on the Aldridge AB were called balls and not strikes. But I do like the restraint from Susan to not toss Lance, because the rule is, like, if they speak, throw them out.
That's a dumb rule.
I agree.
The 1-0. High and inside, 2 balls and no strikes. And that one is skied to left, but Lojo's underneath it. She'll make the catch for out number 3 to retire the side, and Virginia Tech is held to the 1 run here in the 5th.
Yeah, I mean, again, we said this in pregame. Virginia Tech's going to get theirs. They're the top home run hitting team in the ACC, one of the best in the country. They're going to get theirs at some point. What happens around the homer is what makes the difference. It was a solo shot. You had the run of insurance in the 4th. You're still in command, and you've got the heart of the order coming up to try and get a little answer yourself.
For the Hokies in the 5th, 1 run on 1 hit, no errors and 1 left. We stretch in Tuscaloosa. We move to the bottom of the 5th. 4-3 Alabama here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Alabama and Virginia Tech locked in yet another classic Alabama-Virginia Tech softball game. Tide leads at 4-3. Due up for Alabama, 3-4-5. Hevlin, Giles, and Hawkins. Mazzarone back out in the circle doing work for the Hokies. Emma Limley has come in from the bullpen, so I wonder at what point Coach Pete DeMoore will make the move, if he does indeed make a move. Callie Hevlin's been pretty darn good today, and she'll be leading off the inning for the Crimson Tide against Mazzarone with the wind blowing out here in Tuscaloosa. One change, as we expected. Lila Blackwell has stayed in to play left field for the Hokies. And Tom, we talked about it after the first inning. Alabama, it feels like, has not answered in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If there was ever a time, it's now, because the momentum is kind of back flat. You need that energy back on your side with something here in the 5th inning.
And a great hitter to start things off, Callie Hevlin, who had a 2-run shot her last time, walked in the first. First pitch to her is high for ball 1. Hevlin, Giles, and Hawkins due up here in the home half of the 5th. 1-0 is outside, 2 balls and no strikes. And Mazzarone hasn't thrown quite as many pitches as Jocelyn Brisky, but she is about to hit that 90 number here as we play in the 6th inning.
I mentioned it. Limley back in from the pin, so I wonder.
Little outside again, 3 balls and no strikes on Hevlin. And this is also the spot, too, where it's tough to make that pitching decision because you have to guard against the possibility of playing another one today.
Right.
Called strike, 3-1. But if you win this one, you don't have to play later on today.
It's all, again, very hard. Coaching in the postseason, man, is not for the faint of heart. And all your decisions today are based on yesterday, too.
Right, yeah.
And affect tomorrow.
3-1 is high for ball 4, and Callie Hevlin draws the leadoff walk here in the 5th inning.
She's so good, man. 3rd
time Alabama has had the leadoff man on here in this game, and the first 2 times, both those runners scored.
I mean, let's go back to last year when Callie was like relentlessly chasing the rise against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
She's taken that pitch all day today.
Marley Giles now the batter. Squaring around to bunt, but pops it up. Mazzarone makes the catch for out number 1, and Marley very frustrated with herself heading back to the dugout.
That's a rarity. Marley Giles not executing right there, and she knows how significant that first out is, too. Rise ball for Mazzarone. If it's a drop ball, you're probably feeling good, but that upspin just cost Alabama a base.
So 1 out now, runner on first for Salyn Hawkins, who's 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch to her, goes to the backstop. So, all right, everything's square now.
Okay. What is this game? This is also just like a classic wonky regional Saturday game.
Yeah.
Man.
And just the mistakes from Virginia Tech defensively.
That pitch has been all over the place today, that drop arm side.
The 1-0. Hawkins with a ground ball to second. Castine has it, throws to first to get the out. Hevlin does move to third, but there's now 2 away.
This is a very important moment for Brooke Elistad. I'd love to see her wait this out a bit. You know, grounded out in the 4th on the first pitch she saw. The single was in the 2nd where she worked it to 3-1 and then sent something back up the middle.
Yeah.
She's been one of the best with runners in scoring position this year, too.
First pitch, low for ball 1. Elistad, the senior from Kimberly, Wisconsin, the transfer from Louisiana.
By way of St. Thomas.
Trying to cap off her career with the postseason run. Is a called strike, 1-1.
Out of the Box Podcast scoreboard update, getting Weird in Austin, which is kind of their whole thing.
That's what they do.
Bottom of the third, now 5-3 Texas over Michigan after a bunt single and a throwing error scored a run and then a solo homer.
1-1, Elstad gets a piece of the change. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Also, Florida has answered FAU. It's now 10-6 Gators, bottom 5. I'm sure Steph is loving
Just enjoying
the high
heck
scoring.
out of it. Yes. As Roan looks in, here comes the 1-2 to Elstad. Swings and misses, chase the rise outside, and that'll do it for Alabama here in the 5th. They're not able to answer, and they still lead it 4-3.
Yeah, and that's not something that Brooke has done all that much. I like the approach early in the AB. I think the changeup on the 1-1 kind of rattled her a bit, and that is a big non-response. Again, the response stat feels so crucial. Virginia Tech got an answer in the 5th. Now Alabama's got to make sure the Hokies don't add anything in the 6th with Corey McMillan due up 3rd.
For Alabama in the 5th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We played 5, 4-3 Crimson Tide here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. We head to the 6th inning. Alabama with a 4-3 lead over Virginia Tech. The winner of today's ball game advances to tomorrow's championship game of the Tuscaloosa Regional. The loser would come back and play again later on today for a chance to make it to that regional championship. 2 up for the Hokies in the 6th. Rose, Castine, and McMillan. And before we bring the 6th inning to you, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Jocelyn Brisky back out for her 6th inning of work. Monica Rose to lead things off. She's 0 for 2. She reached on an error in the 2nd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th.
I think now's the time to get her out.
Yes.
We do have a final Out of the Box podcast scoreboard update. Tennessee does hold off Ohio State 4-2. So Ohio State will play the winner of Miami, Ohio, and North Carolina later today. Tennessee done until tomorrow.
First pitch to Rose is right in there for a called strike. That out, though, on the fielder's choice in the 4th was big. That was when she tried to lay down a sacrifice bunt, and the runner was thrown out at 3rd. That hits the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes.
It's a great pitch. Oh, my gosh. Florida just run-ruled FAU. 14-6 in 5.
Wow, a grand slam.
Jocelyn Erickson.
The 0-2. Rose pops it up on the infield. Underneath it is Hevlin. She'll make the catch for a big first out here in the 6th inning.
Imagine if you're FAU. You scored 6 runs on Florida, and you didn't make it to a 6th inning.
Man, that's how quick it can go for you, though. Rachel Castine steps in. First pitch to the righty. Fouled away. 4-strike-1. Castine, a senior from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Oh. Familiar with the spot.
0 for 1 on the day. Sacrifice bunt in the 2nd. Popped out in the 4th. The 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And this is a big one. Corey McMillan awaits on deck. If she hits one out of here, got to make sure it's just one. Alabama's done a really good job against her for the most part all day, even though she's reached 3 times.
1-1, fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Strike 3, 2 gone here in the 6th.
All right, mission accomplished, well done. Off-speed pitch too. I think this is off-speed curve maybe. That's right over the plate, but if you're not on time, you're gonna come up empty just like Castine did.
So Corey McMillan now the batter. 1 for 1 with a single, 2 walks and a run scored. First pitch, low for ball 1. Millen, a senior from Greensboro, North Carolina. Transfer from Radford.
One of those cool stories. Mid-major kid who was really good, came to a big school, found a spotlight.
And that's a fly ball to left field. Underneath it is Lauren Johnson. She'll make the catch for a big out number 3. Jocelyn Brisky comes in, sits down the Hokies in order in the 6th, including inducing a fly out to one of, if not the best hitter in the country.
Yeah, and you could tell by the way she was swinging. Corey McMillan was like, hello, I'm going to tie this right now. And, man, to get her out quickly, too, really, really impressive. Last part of it, as long as nothing gets crazy in the 7th, which it probably will, but you're pretty much guaranteed to not face McMillan again in this game, unless Virginia Tech goes to the bottom of the 7th up like 7-4. So,
right.
Really good spot, and if you're Alabama, just try and get any insurance you can, because that's another theme this year. Yeah. Insurance runs and Alabama's wins against high-quality teams have been some of the most important pieces of those games.
So Jocelyn Brisky sits down the Hokies in order, throwing just 8 pitches in the 6th inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3 Crimson Tide here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Tide, Hubbard, Dukeshire, and Pruitt. And Emma Mazzarone back out for her 6th inning of work. And Gray, we talked way back in our pregame when we talked to Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. We talked about how much the bottom of the order has done for the Crimson Tide here in the last few weeks, and looking for them to get this lineup turned over to get a couple of insurance runs here in the 6th, if at all possible.
Anything you can get will help take some pressure off Brisky in the 7th.
Mighty Hubbard to start things off, 0 for 2. The fly out and a strikeout. First pitch comes in, and that hits her.
Right?
Yep. Hubbard heads down to first.
Susan did not make any motion. I think Pete DeMoore's question is, did that hit the knob of the bat or hit the arm? Because Susan did not say go to first. She just did the dead ball.
Right. That might have hit the knob of the bat.
That's right there in that wrist knob area.
Yeah.
This would also be an opportunity for the umpire-initiated review here.
Right, because as we talked about, Virginia Tech is out of challenges. But once you get into the 6th inning, the umpires can make that call themselves.
And this is a situation where I would love for the umpire, like, again, just thinking big picture for the game. If I'm Alabama, I hope they do nothing.
Right.
But I would take a look because it's a big play. I think they will.
We're going to do an umpire-initiated challenge.
Yeah, it's an umpire-initiated.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, right? The reason the challenge system was implemented was because there were so many calls that we didn't love. And how many times have we watched games where coaches have asked for umpire-initiated review and it
they won't
not be granted?
Right.
This is the NCAA tournament. This is an important play. Take the 2 minutes. Just go have a look. Pittsburgh will tell you. I really like that this crew did this, and I would love to see that more across the board. I hope the call goes for Alabama. I'm not 100% sure. I think it hits a wrist. On the side angle, it looks like it gets the wrist area.
That is correct. I certainly hope that is the case. But if it hits, even if it does hit the wrist, if it hits any part of the bat, it's still a foul ball.
There is, from the
Straight
center
on
field angle, you can see the knob of the bat ricochet a bit.
But if you're holding the bat and your hand gets hit, the bat's going to move. So
Right.
here's this is a similar play to the caught cleanly third strike because it is so dang close.
How about I give you a scoreboard update while we wait?
Sure.
Top of the third, Nebraska 10, Southeastern 1. Let's see what else we got. Arkansas has tied it with Oklahoma State in the 4th, 1 apiece. Georgia 4-0 on Duke.
Wow.
Cal left a runner stranded at third against OU in the 1st.
Come on, Cal.
Man, can you imagine
that's
Alabama Cal next week in Supers here? That'd be fun. It's not going to happen, but that'd be fun.
Well, you never know.
Tom, we do know.
Well, is the chance 0?
I mean, it's like 0.6.
So you're saying there's a chance.
If that is your definition.
Here comes Don Brown. Let's see what he has to say.
Review. The call on the field has been changed. We have a foul ball.
Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
Now, what it shouldn't be is a strike. It should be ball.
But
Or
if
I'm
it
sorry,
hit
no,
the
my
bat.
bad. It hit
Yeah,
the bat. You're right. My
yeah.
bad.
So the foul ball.
I'm getting my hit by pitch rulings mixed up.
Yeah.
But again, you know what? If that's the right call, which Pittsburgh saw something,
Yeah.
umpires, good job trying to make sure it's right.
So Hubbard back to the batter's box. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball to second. Stop made by Castine. The throw's in time, and there's one away.
Castine is very athletic. She is in the lineup for Virginia Tech because of her glove. She was doing that shading thing where she was hugging closer to first base. This is hit a little bit harder. I think it squeaks through, but good job by the Hokie second baseman to make the play.
That brings up Abby Dukeshire. 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout, a walk, and her pinch runner scored a run. First pitch to her is high for ball 1. In the stakes, the winner of this game will move to tomorrow's championships of the regional and would have to be defeated twice not to win the regional. 1-0 is outside. 2 balls and no strikes. The loser will face the winner of the next matchup between Jackson State and Belmont later on today for a chance to go to that regional championship and have to defeat today's winner twice. The 2-0. Dukeshire fouls that one off. 2-1.
And I feel like, just kind of previewing that matchup, Belmont can probably get that win without Maya Johnson throwing, which means the loser of this game will have to worry about her in the nightcap.
Yeah.
Which won't be super fun. Hokies hit her pretty well early, but she kind of settled in as the game went on.
Two-one pitch. Dukeshire takes it low and away, 3-1. And we also saw Belmont kind of playing the game there yesterday after the Hokies had that 4-run third. Johnson only went 5 instead of the full 7. 3-1, hits the outside corner, 3-2.
Scoreboard update, Cassidy Pickering solo homer, 1-0 OU, bottom 1.
Yeah.
It's to lead off the inning.
Yeah. If you get a runner to third, I suggest you get her home.
With 1 out, yes.
Yeah. Payoff to Dukeshire. Fouled away. We'll do it again, 3 balls and 2 strikes. But that's now, again, referring back to our pregame interview with Coach Murphy. 3 times here in this regional that Duke's been ahead in the count, 3-1, and taken a strike to make it 3-2.
Yeah, and this one's a little harder, though, because Mazzarone's been so all over the place, but
yeah,
that was a meaty 3-1.
Payoff. Swing and a miss. Dukeshire down on strikes, and there's 2 away.
And there's where the wildness becomes effective, right? Because, again, sometimes that pitch leaks back over. Not a ton, but especially when it's up, because like Mazzarone has missed arm side down a good bit today. If that's up, you're thinking this is going to be a strike. Just kind of hung out a little bit outside the white.
Larissa Pruitt now steps in. First pitch. Bounces in for ball 1. Pruitt 0 for 2. The ground out in the second and reached on an error in the 4th, which became huge. The line drive to short. Rose dropped it, and the throw not quite in time to get Pruitt, allowing Alabama to score an extra run in the 4th inning. 1-0.
No.
Low and away. She didn't go on the swing. Gilzayas agrees.
Another scoreboard update. How about an RBI triple from Tia Warsop, Team Great Britain, for Oklahoma State. 2-1 Cowgirls, top 4 against Arkansas and Fayetteville.
Putting a smile on Tara Henry's face. 2-0. A little inside as she pulled back the bunt. 3-0.
Can I send a shout out to my Softball America podcast co-host?
Sure.
Tara Henry, working 7 Innings Live. If you've got ESPN Plus and you want to stay up to date on everything, 7 Innings Live. Tara, Chris Budden, and Matt Schick, and Tori Vidalis watching every regional all day long.
The 3-0 to Pruitt. High for ball 4. You all right?
Sure.
That turns over the lineup. Gives Audrey Vandegrift another opportunity. And talking about that 4th inning, Alabama did the damage with 2 outs. Looking to do it here.
I was about to say, I wonder if Pete's like, bring in Limley for 1 pitch.
Yeah.
Or, well, 1 out, hopefully. That's why you're bringing her in, to try and get 1 out here.
So Pete Demore is going to make a change in the circle. With this called the bullpen, remind you that Alabama softball is brought to you by Barkley GMC, the best place to buy a vehicle in Tuscaloosa, and proud sponsors of the Crimson Tide. Visit barkleygmc.com today. Barkley makes it easy. Take a timeout, tell you about the new pitcher, and we come back. 2 out, runner on first. Bama leads at 4-3 in the 6th here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Two outs and a runner on first. 4-3 Alabama in the bottom of the 6th inning. 4th time to the order, and a new pitcher coming in for Virginia Tech, and it is going to be the righty, Emma Limley.
Yeah, the golden ticket winner, Limley, with a 2.64 ERA, 18-7 record, 36th appearance, 154 innings, 102 hits, 65 runs, 58 earned, 57 walks, 189 strikeouts. I will save a lot of the specialty stats for when we see her for an extended amount of time, but I'll give you the scouting report. High 60s, 48% rise, and to lefties, it's 62% rise. So that's got to be what Vandegrift's looking for here.
Pruitt is on first. Audrey Vandergriff is the batter. Lemmy looks in, and here comes the first pitch. It's a called strike. Vandergriff on the day is 1 for 2. A ground out in the first, a walk with a run scored in the third, and an RBI single in the fourth.
Do you sim Pruitt?
I would consider it. The 0-1. Another called strike on the outside corner, 0-2.
There's that kind of plain rise ball, strike rise ball. Limley's coming in to get one out. Not surprised she's being aggressive.
The 0-2. Too far outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mazzarone went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, 110 pitches, 58 strikes. She was responsible for the runner on first.
Thought all told, she threw pretty well. Just a couple free passes and defensive errors really came up big in this game.
1-2, high and away, taking off is Pruitt, and she will steal second base just ahead of the throw and tag by the Hokies. And the stolen base for Larissa is her 17th of the season.
That's sneakily top 10 in the SEC, and it was almost kind of an accidental pitch out. Rise high and away. Good throw by Yeager, just a little late.
Now the 2-2. Vandergriff fouls it off at the plate. Stays alive at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Scoreboard update, 8-3 Texas over Michigan, 3-1 Oklahoma State over Arkansas, Duke on the board, 4-1 Georgia. End of list. Want to watch all those games, so make sure this is our only game we're calling today.
2-2. Vandergriff with a fly ball to shallow center. That's going to be caught on the run in the corner, or excuse me, in the gap by McMillan for out number 3. And a big catch there. Keeps it 4-3 Alabama as we head to the 7th.
Oh boy, that was dicey because I thought it was Peck's ball, but McMillan clearly had the beat on it, and Vandergriff actually squared it up well, but just couldn't quite get on time. That was more off speed from Limley right there. And now if you're Alabama, just got to slam the door. Keep that tying run at the plate. No funny business.
For the Crimson Tide in the 6th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We head to the 7th, the last chance for Virginia Tech. It's 4-3 Crimson Tide here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Move to the 7th inning, the last chance for Virginia Tech. It is 4-3 Alabama. 4 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, 6 left for the Tide. 3 runs on 6 hits, 3 errors, 7 left for the Hokies. And it's 2-3-4 due up for Virginia Tech against Jocelyn Brisky.
Well, this has been, Tom, another classic Alabama-Virginia Tech game. We talked all week about how the run rule by Alabama was very much not the norm.
Right.
Every game since we all started hanging out together in 2022 has been either an extra inning affair or a 1-run ball game. And right now, if you're Alabama, you're hoping that stat remains true, at least the 1-run part. Not sure I'm a fan of extras.
Jordan Lynch will lead things off. She walked back in the first, 0 for 2. Lines that one into right, and a leadoff single by Jordan Lynch starts things off for the Hokies here in the 7th. And just like that, tying run is on first, and the go-ahead run's at the plate.
That was fast. Pitch just a little bit too elevated from Brisky. It's okay. Shake it off. You got good defense behind you.
One of those patented double plays.
Sure. It's been a minute.
Zoe Yeager, 0 for 3 on the day, is the batter now. A couple strikeouts and a ground out. First pitch is a one-hopper to third. They'll throw to second for one, and the throw from Hevlin not going to be in time to get the runner at first, but got a big first out. Looking to see if there might have been a runner obstruction there, but I don't believe so.
Yeah, I mean, Callie said my bad to Lynch as she slid into second. They would have gotten it too, I think, if that throw was on the money. Got to be really careful here with Aldridge. You've already seen her power. I would make sure everything I'm doing here is away. She pulled that inside pitch her last time up.
Sarah McNelly is a pinch runner on first now. And the first pitch to Aldridge is a little low for ball one. Aldridge 2 for 3. Homer last time. That's a chopper to first. Dukeshire will go and apply the tag at first.
Was that almost? She almost go backwards?
She went more side to side.
Okay, sidestepping.
So the tag is applied. And Alabama now has Virginia Tech down to their final out. Bree Peck is the batter. Runner on second, 2 outs. Peck is 1 for 3 with an RBI single back in the first.
And this is the career RBI leader in Virginia Tech history. So if you're the Hokies, outside of Corey McMillan, this is probably the hitter that you want at the plate. Got to be very secure in your plan. Marley Giles meeting with Brisky now. Got to make sure you are 100% confident where you are going with all these pitches. We've seen Virginia Tech be very aggressive in this inning. Oh, they're going to walk Peck.
I was about to say, yeah. First base is open.
Ooh, skirt.
Just not used to throwing pitches not considered a strike, not even trying.
And I get this, Martin on deck. You know, you're weighing the options here. Do we throw to the one with 53, now 54 RBIs, who's the program all-time leader, or do we go to the player who's hitting 237 entering today with 12 runs batted in?
Yeah.
I think it's a clear choice. And now we'll see what Pete DeMore has in store. Because I'll tell you what, if Michelle Chatfield, who is day-to-day, is able to go, and I wanted to pinch hit for her, I would say now's the time. But I don't think that's the play. It's just a re-entry for Martin.
Because Blackwell had stayed in to play in the field after pinch running in the 5th. So they're going to go back to Trinity Martin, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Tying run on second, go ahead on first, but there's 2 outs. First pitch. Fly ball to center. On the run is Vandegrift. She will make the catch, and Alabama will advance to the Tuscaloosa Regional Championship game with a 4-3 win over Virginia Tech here on Regional Saturday.
3 times Alabama decided to take the bat out of the hands of an RBI producer for Virginia Tech, and it worked all 3 times. So many key moments in this game. Another classic. Man, I hope Alabama and Virginia Tech can play every year, because if the games are this fun, then you're set in this sport. I want to go back to, I think, the biggest play of the ball game. Let's cycle all the way back to the first inning.
Yep.
The throw out from Lauren Johnson at home to end the inning and keep it at just 2 runs in the frame. And you rightly pointed out, because Murph was walking around and asking, not only did that end the inning and keep it at 2 runs, it kept Brisky in the game.
Yeah.
Because we feel like he was probably about to go to Caitlin Riley right there, and that would have thrown everything off schedule. But Brisky stayed in. She hunkered down. She made 1 mistake. But against Virginia Tech, if you make 1 mistake and nobody's on, whatever. The offense did enough with 3 hits just all in all, this was kind of what you have to do. In the postseason, I really don't care how, just that.
Yeah.
And Alabama found a way to win against a very, very, very tough Hokies team who now has to regroup and get ready for the winner of Belmont and Jackson State later on tonight.
Virginia Tech in the 7th, no run on a hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on. With the win, Alabama improves to 39 and 21
swings
on the year, and they advance to that championship game of the Tuscaloosa Regional tomorrow. Virginia Tech falls to 42 and 12, and they will play later on today against the winner of Belmont and Jackson State. The winning pitcher is Jocelyn Brisky. She gets the complete game victory. She's now 17 and 12 on the year. Emma Mazzarone takes a loss. She's now 11 and 3. It's 4 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 6 left for Alabama. 3 runs on 7 hits, 3 errors, and 9 runners left on for Virginia Tech. We'll take a timeout, come back with the Alabama softball postgame report right after this here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
DC
Copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Alabama. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the university and Learfield. Announcers are provided by Learfield and approved by the university.
1-2. Duxer swings and one in the dirt for strike 3. The ball gets away. And here comes Ellisad. She's going to score. Brooke Ellisad never stops running on the wild pitch. And the strikeout brings home a run. It's now 2-1 Virginia Tech.
2-2 to Heveland. That is going to do the job. Out to center field. It might do even more. Callie Heflin hit it out. Consistent Callie said not just to the outfield, out of the yard. 2-run homer. Bama leads it 3-2 in the third.
0-2 pitch. Drops in. Called strike 3. And Lynch goes down on strikes on just a nasty pitch by Jocelyn Brisky to wrap it up here in the fourth.
The 2-1. Vandegrift lines it to left. That's going to fall for a base hit. Rounding third and coming in to score is Pate. They'll throw back behind Pruitt. She's safe. And an RBI single for Audrey Vandegrift. Makes it now 4-2 Crimson Tide. Tying run on second. Go ahead on first.
Last one.
There's 2 outs. First pitch. Fly ball to center. On the run is Vandegrift. She will make the catch. And Alabama will advance to the Tuscaloosa Regional Championship game with a 4-3 win over Virginia Tech here on Regional Saturday. Alabama does come away with a 4-3 victory to advance to the Regional Championship, and Alabama will take on whoever fights out of the loser's bracket. You got Belmont and Jackson State coming up next. The winner of that one will take on Virginia Tech, and the winner of that one will have to beat Alabama twice tomorrow to keep the Crimson Tide from advancing to Super Regional play. And Tom Canterbury alongside Gray Robertson as we bring you the Alabama softball postgame report after just a gritty and gutty win for the Crimson Tide against Virginia Tech 4-3.
I mean, this is Alabama, Virginia Tech in a nutshell. I want to again bring up the stats. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two went to extras or is a one-run ball game. And Alabama did a lot of really good things today. It was not a perfect game. I'm sure there will be some people who are like, 3 hits, what? But the hits were timely. 3 hits in the game, 2 of them came with runners in scoring position. If you're going to get not very many hits, at least make sure the ones that you have are at the crucial times. Outside of the first inning, Alabama, anytime there was a miscue from Virginia Tech, took advantage.
Yes.
Points off turnovers. They didn't respond today, but POTs were huge in this game. And Jocelyn Brisky, just gritty. The first inning kind of went all wrong, like walks and couldn't find her command, and then the command was there, but Virginia Tech was hitting good pitches in the grass, and Lauren Johnson helped out her teammate, kept her in the ballgame by making that great throw to get the third out at home, and she was excellent the rest of the way against a team that she's pitched well against in the past. Last note here, we said this privately pregame, and now we'll say it publicly because Alabama won. This was, when we saw that Mazzarone was pitching, a must-win because you knew if you did not win this game, you would have to use your other arms, and you would be seeing Emma Lemley for the first time on Elimination Game 1 on Regional Championship Sunday. So it was very, very important for Alabama to get this victory today. They even saw a little bit of Lemley, and now they get to rest up while the Hokies have to fight through the rest of the Tuscaloosa Regional.
And I think really the difference in this ball game is in the E column. I think it's a lot about not just the errors, but the good plays defensively that Alabama made. The throw out from left field from Lauren Johnson to keep it just the 2 runs, originally called safe, went to the replay review and got the out call. And then uncharacteristically, Virginia Tech with the 3 errors, including one that led directly to a run scoring. One team played a little bit crisper in this ball game, and it was the Crimson Tide.
And multiple wild pitches as well.
Yes.
But you're exactly right. I mean, and postseason draws that out of you. And we talked about this week on the pod. I went on a couple Virginia Tech media platforms as well, and I talked about how the biggest difference in my mind from February to now was that the Alabama defense in February was a liability. I could make the argument that right now Alabama's biggest strength is its defense, and there were some really key defensive plays that Alabama made, even with an error on the score sheet, that helped get this win. Virginia Tech having the errors that they had is quite shocking. And if they're going to give you gifts, you sure as heck better take advantage if you're the Crimson Tide.
And that error led off the second inning for Virginia Tech, and Alabama, including with an intentional walk to Corey McMillan in that inning, did not allow a run to score.
Yes.
So that was also, for Alabama earlier on in the year, it wasn't just that you were making errors. It's when you made errors, the opponent capitalized on them.
And how about the finish from Brisky, too? I mean,
first pitch of the 7th inning, laced into right field.
Well, 6th inning, 3 up, 3 down with Corey McMillan hitting. Are you kidding? The 6th inning has been a nightmare this year. 7th inning, you're exactly right. First pitch seen ripped to right, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. And great fielder's choice. Could have been a double play. I was a little surprised that Virginia Tech was so aggressive in that inning. Every at-bat was either the first or second pitch minus the intentional walk,
Right.
which was also a great call. It was just a good softball game. And it wasn't necessarily a perfect softball game or a pretty softball game, but it's the kind of game that you see more often than not in the postseason. And we know from years of precedent and history that if it turns into a classic postseason softball game, Alabama is going to make the plays and find a way to win. And that's what happened here today.
Here are the final stats from today's ball game. We'll start with Virginia Tech, who falls to 42-12 with the loss. They got 2 runs in the first and 1 in the fifth for their 3 runs on 7 hits, 3 errors, and 9 runners left on base. Corey McMillan was 1 for 2 with 2 walks and a run scored. Jordan Lynch was 1 for 3 with a walk. Zoe Yeager was 0 for 4. Kylie Aldridge was 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored.
Can I cut in real quick? Corey McMillan, you mentioned her stats. The 1 out was huge, but she reached 3 times. And you just read Jordan Lynch and Zoe Yeager a combined 1 for 7 in this game. If there are a couple more hits there, I think Virginia Tech probably wins. But Brisky was great against the next 2 batters after Corey McMillan.
Bree Peck was 1 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. Trinity Martin was 0 for 3 with a walk. Emily Leggett was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Annika Rose was 0 for 3, and Rachel Castine was 0 for 2. In the circle, Emma Mazzarone took the loss. She's now 11-3 on the year. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 5 walks, and 6 strikeouts through 110 pitches and 58 strikes. Emma Limley pitched the final third of an inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts, 6 pitches, and 4 strikes thrown by Limley. For Alabama, they improved to 39-21, advancing to tomorrow's championship game of the Tuscaloosa Regional. They got 1 run in the second, 2 in the third, and 1 in the fourth for their 4 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 6 runners left on base. Audrey Vandergriff was 1 for 3 with a walk and RBI and a run scored. Lauren Johnson was 0 for 3. Callie Hevlin 1 for 1 with 2 walks, 2 RBIs, and run scored. Had that 2-run homer in the third.
She was awesome. And I love the eye, too, because the walks were not like, pitch around her walks. They were weighted out and pick your pitch walks. Callie was excellent today in a game where she had to be.
Marley Giles 0 for 3. Salem Hawkins 0 for 3. Brooke Elistad was 1 for 3 with a run scored, and huge base running play to come in and score on that wild pitch. A batter after maybe making a base running mistake, not tagging up on the fly ball to right from second base.
Yeah, that was really crucial because that got the energy and the vibes back on Alabama's side. It was fascinating how that play to end the first inning kind of seemed like it gave Alabama a little juice even though they were losing, but the only way you can truly get it on your side is if you're able to strike quickly. And we said after the first inning, Alabama needs to score in a hurry. They found a way to get that run in the second, even though they didn't get the lead back. That was huge in turning the tide of this game.
Maddie Hubbard was 0 for 3. Abby Dukeshire was 0 for 2 with a walk. Kinley Pate as a pinch runner scored a run, and Larissa Pruitt was 0 for 2 with a walk. In the circle, Jocelyn Brisky, a complete game victory. She is now 17-12 on the year. 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts through 114 pitches and 66 strikes to get the victory. Time of the game, 2 hours, 24 minutes, 2,400. The attendance here in Tuscaloosa as Alabama advances to the championship game of the Tuscaloosa Regional, knocking Virginia Tech into the loser's bracket. Again, coming up next, it'll be Jackson State taking on Belmont. The winner of that one will take on Virginia Tech later on today, and then the winner of that one will face Alabama tomorrow, and we'll have to beat the Crimson Tide twice.
And we do have confirmation, no Maya Johnson getting a start for Belmont, as I've got the lineup here for a game we will not be calling.
That is correct, yes.
Thank you, Ethan, for gifting it to us. So no Maya Johnson. That means Hokies, you know what you're probably getting later on today if Belmont is able to beat Jackson State. Just a lot of things that we can pinpoint here. A lot of people had good games. I think this is like a very deceiving offensive stat sheet here. A lot of people did really good work putting the ball in play. And I think one of the things we didn't really talk about, there were a lot of reviews. The zone was small. There were changes. There were momentum shifts. You know what that equates to? Even though it was a fun softball game to watch,
Weird.
It was a weird game. And Alabama won.
Yeah.
And that has been a problem. Alabama, when it's been weird, has not won. We had weather this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama fought through the weird and got the victory, and now they get to rest up and strategize for What I'm going to frankly presume is another matchup with Virginia Tech.
It would certainly be an upset if it's not Virginia Tech.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. I mean, what a ball game that'll be. And if it's Belmont or Jackson State, I don't think it'll be Jackson State. If it's Belmont, then they're probably going to use up a lot of their bullets against the Hokies tonight. So that's – I think if you're Alabama, you're just in the perfect spot right now. And that's why winning on Saturday in regionals is so crucial.
Yeah, and like you said, it has not gone well this year when it has been a weird softball game for Alabama, but they were able to come through it here today. And Jocelyn Brisky going the complete game sets you up perfectly pitching-wise, too, for tomorrow. Caitlin Riley still has not pitched in this regional.
Right, and – man, there were some moments in the back half of that game. I mean, we talked about the first inning, how we thought Riley was probably about to come in.
Yeah.
There were moments where Patrick Murphy could have pulled the trigger. After the home run in the fifth, like that first pitch single, it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I honestly thought of it, but I like the trust and the patience. And it was a good job by Brisky finishing it off and making sure that Caitlin Riley is fresh and hot to go for Sunday Regional Championship Day.
What a timely reference.
Yeah, it's only been out for a year.
Pop culture. But it also, one of the reasons why I think Patrick Murphy decided to stick with Jocelyn Brisky in this situation is if Alabama is going to make a run past even this weekend in postseason play, those are the type of innings you got to get from Jocelyn Brisky.
She's going to have to finish.
She has to do that.
Yeah.
And she has done it here recently in postseason play in the last couple weeks of the regular season. Great to see her do that, and hopefully it bodes well for Alabama moving forward.
You should have nothing but confidence. I mean, you took down a team who was not coming in limping, who was not coming in feeling sorry for themselves that they didn't host. It's a very, very good Virginia Tech team who actually did a lot of things well today.
Yeah.
They also made more mistakes. And if you're at home, if you're the host, you better make sure that those mistakes come back to haunt the opponent. And that is the biggest story of this game. Who cashed in on their opportunities more? The answer is overwhelmingly Alabama.
Anything you want to add before we wrap things up and have a chance to go watch softball for the rest of the day?
I am hyped. I would just like to say, should I go through one more around the horn scoreboard update?
Hit it.
Okay. She said what? She said scores. Top 6, Florida State leads South Florida 8-0. Nebraska 14-1 over Southeastern. Good gravy. 14-4, Texas over Michigan, bottom 4. South Carolina, North Florida is still scoreless in the 5th.
Man. What you're seeing here, too, is evidence that not all 2 and not all 3 seeds are created equal in this tournament.
Amen, brother. Top 5, Oklahoma State 5-1 on Arkansas. We have documented well Arkansas's issues in the postseason.
Yeah.
This would be jarring because Oklahoma State did that against Robin Herron, the ace. Top of the 5th, how about no score, Clemson Northwestern as well. Georgia 4-1 on Duke, bottom 4. OU 4-1 on Cal, bottom 2.
Cal responded, but then Oklahoma responded as well.
Anti-response, important
Yeah.
against the Sooners. 4-0 A&M on Liberty going to the 3rd. Texas Tech has jumped up on Mississippi State, 3-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. And the first elimination game of the day is underway. Miami, Ohio, and UNC tied up at 0 in the bottom of the 1st. I hope everybody listening, go home. Do what you got to do, run your errands, but I would recommend sitting in front of a TV and checking out some of the softball. This is a day where, like we've talked about, 32 seasons come to an end. The best of the best in the regionals face off. Who's hot? Who can make the plays? You're going to see a lot of games, I think, as the day goes on, similar to what we saw here today. And I hope everybody checks it out. And I'm glad I have the chance to do so because Alabama won this game in a very gritty way, a way that they have not necessarily won games this year. And now you get to put your feet up and get ready for Championship Sunday in Tuscaloosa.
That's going to do it for this podcast, the Bama Softball Post-Game Report. The Vice President and General Manager of the Crimson Tide Sports Network is Jim Carabin. Our CTSN Booth Cam producer is Ethan Carabin, and our studio engineer has been Brian Freeman. For Gray Robertson and everyone here at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, I'm Tom Canterbury saying thank you for joining us as Bama gets the 4-3 win over Virginia Tech. Tune in again tomorrow as Alabama looks to win their 21st NCAA Regional, taking on the last team standing between Virginia Tech, Belmont, and Jackson State. Airtime is 12:45 here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Until then, roll Tide from Tuscaloosa.